From Canada's West Coast, one of this country's great traditions continues. The first Grey Cup game was played well over a century ago. The latest, back in Vancouver for the first time in a decade, featuring two teams with proud winning traditions, meeting for the second time in 3 years. The Toronto Argonauts have won the Cup more than any team in history, but the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have been a team for the ages, back in this championship for a fifth straight time. Welcome to the 111th Grey Cup from BC Place. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers back again, and this time, for the first time in the run of five, they will wear their home dark blue jerseys up against the Argos in their whites. There's Zach Collaros, a record fifth straight Grey Cup appearance. Remarkable for a team that's looking to get over the heartbreak of losing the last two. The 2024 Grey Cup is underway, and it's Lucky Whitehead on the return for Winnipeg. The Bombers had won the toss. They want the ball first, and here comes Zach Collaros.
As you mentioned, this is Grey Cup 111, and no other quarterback has started in 5 consecutive. Zach Collaros has done that. He threw for over 4,000 yards this year, completion percentage at 70. Played his best football in the Western Final.
They scored early and often 3 times in their first 5 possessions, Glenn Suter, in that victory over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So they get the ball first. Watch for Brady Oliveira, the running back, number 20, in behind Collaros, the most outstanding player in the Canadian Football League in 2024, at over 1,300 yards rushing. On the first down, and the flag's out before the football came out.
Procedure, Winnipeg, number 6 high. The 5-yard penalty will replay first down.
So a procedure call against Tuieli, and obviously not the way they want to start with the flag before the first play from scrimmage as he heads off.
Most experienced team in the Grey Cup with a little Grey Cup jitters out of the gate. Will start 1st and 15 in their first drive.
5-yard state switch. Ready.
This Bomber team started the season at 0-4. But after a loss to the Argos, then won 8 straight before losing to Toronto again and finishing up at 11-7. 1st and 15 now after the penalty and the play fake. And it is off and met later right away. Royce Metier coming in there on Ontario Wilson. They tried to set up that screen and the Argos had it.
One of the best to ever do it is left tackle Stanley Bryant in this offensive line for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the Grey Cup. 8th year on the All-Star team for the left tackle. Stanley Bryant, 38 years old. Brady Oliveira was not only the outstanding Canadian in 2024, he was also the MOP of the year.
So pickup of 3. It's a 2nd and 12 now with a 4-man rush and time for Collaros, airing it out deep. Deep for Kenny Lawler, and Metier is right there. Argos stride for stride with the outstanding Kenny Lawler at a big day against the Riders in the Western Final last week.
Well, did he ever? 177 yards. He's up at the top of your screen, and they're trying to go right after this secondary and try and get Kenny Lawler deep on another one. 3 touchdowns in that Western Final. Lawler on the deep post route, but Royce Metier back-to-back plays. One on the screen and that on the deep ball to not allow Lawler to get to it.
And so the Bombers are forced to punt. A familiar face for them at the other end. There he is, Janarian Grant, the all-time leader in return yardage in the Grey Cup. All of that with Winnipeg. His first year with the Argos, a punt of 45 yards. The ex-Bomber Grant has it. Game breaker. He's got something going here across the 40. 45, taken down near midfield finally. So an all too familiar sight for Winnipeg as Janarian Grant will set the Argos up in a good place to start for their opening possession. A return of 23 yards.
Well, just by his presence, Janarian Grant is going to possibly affect the field position in this game. It's whether or not the Bombers elect to try and kick it away from him. If they do, they may give up some yards in their net punting. So that will create field position for Nick Arbuckle, who gets the start due to the injury to Chad Kelly back in the Eastern Final.
Kelly suffered a broken leg late in the 3rd quarter in Montreal. Arbuckle came on. He was 5 of 8 for 73 yards, but helped the Argos get here. Handing off to Kadeem Carey. One thing Toronto loves to do is run the football, and Carey 3rd of the CFL in rushing yards this season. But Nick Arbuckle, a look at what he's done over the course of this season. Only 1 start, threw for just under 800 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 intercepted.
first ever Grey Cup start, but he's not a young guy. He's 30 years old. He's had quite the football journey, a lot of different teams, different stops. He's been considered as a guy that might be the next one at times and has been a backup at times. Gets his first start in the Grey Cup.
Won a Grey Cup with Calgary as a backup in 2018, throwing here and finds a receiver open for a first down. Working it down inside the Winnipeg 45. That's Tavares Daniels, who's no stranger to the Grey Cup. He was there with the Stampeders for 3 years in this big game.
Little trips to the wide side of the field with Kadeem Carey, their running back, coming out of the backfield, and there's Tavares Daniels getting things going and maybe settling in what has to be a nervous Nick Arbuckle in his first start in the Grey Cup.
A pickup of 11 yards. Arbuckle to Daniels. Down to the 43 of Winnipeg on Toronto's first possession of this Grey Cup. Handing off again. Kadeem Carey. And breaking through and gets inside the 35 as we take a look at the Toronto Argonauts offense.
He's in his third year up there at left tackle for this game, but offensive lineman Ryan Hunter was this year's offensive lineman on the season. And Mackay Polk, a rookie in his first Grey Cup, the only 1,000-yard receiver for the Argos this year.
They run tempo on offense, give it back to Carey. It looks like he has a first down, just needed about a yard and a half. So the sticks will move. Fourth year as a head coach in Toronto, and his second trip in those 4 years back to the Grey Cup game. 3 first-place finishes, then second this year at 10-8 from the Winnipeg 32. Deontay McMahon is the running back. Arbuckle looking to swing it out to him, but he's covered. Buys some time. Flag comes out. Completes the pass down inside the 30 to David Ungerer. But will this be coming back?
By the look of defensive lineman Jake Thomas, this is going to come back. Looked like he was tackled and didn't get the number.
Holding Toronto, number 52. The 10-yard penalty will reach first down.
Peter Nicastro, the center. One-on-one with Jake Thomas. See that one-on-one battle? So far, so good. And then the takedown right there.
Nicastro, veteran out of the University of Calgary, and was not able to play in the 2022 Grey Cup because of a knee injury. Getting his first taste of this CFL championship game. First and 20 after the hold. And Arbuckle is rushed. He throws it away. Bobbled by Ungerer inside the 40. And hanging on to the football is David Ungerer. And it'll still be a second and long coming up.
Get things started for Toronto. Janarian Grant gives him good field position. Nick Arbuckle looks like he's settling in nicely. That was a good decision to get it outside when he felt the pressure of that pocket start to collapse. Willie Jefferson is going to get it done. He's got a nice inside swim move there. There's the pressure, but a good decision by Arbuckle to get it out quickly.
7th play of this drive. Argos inside the Bomber 40. The pushback by the penalty. It's a 2nd and 17. And Arbuckle has time again. Completes a short one. Deontay McMahon breaks a tackle. Has a first down and more. McMahon down close to the Winnipeg 10 on the biggest play of this first drive by the Argos in business here.
It really is, because it's such a high percentage throw to get the check down to McMahon, who's coming out of the backfield out of McNeese State, 24 years old, in his second year with the double blue. And watch this move when he puts that left foot in the ground and gets outside on Tyrell Ford, the corner. 29-yard gain for Deontay McMahon.
Who had 1 catch in the Eastern semifinal against Ottawa and no catches at all last week in Montreal in the Eastern final. He has won in the Grey Cup, and it's a big one. It's set up a first and goal right at the Winnipeg 10 for Toronto. Handing off. Kadeem Carey inside the 5 and down to about the 3. Second and goal coming up as Carey and the Argos get that much closer.
Already talked about Willie Jefferson up front. 6th time that he has been named to the All-CFL team this year. In the linebacking core, Reda Cramby out of the University of Montreal in his 4th season breakout year.
Handing off Carey again, and he is department, keeping them out of the end zone, and a big third down decision coming up here for the Argos.
Really is, and which Ryan Dinwiddie has an early decision to make. And you know how tempting it is, and he's leaving his offense out there.
In each of the two games between these teams, in each of them, both teams turned it over on downs at the goal line. 10th play of the drive. Third and goal at the Winnipeg 1. Argos. And out of shotgun is Arbuckle. And we see this time and again. Will they snap the ball? They often try to draw them offside.
Violation, Toronto number 4. The 5-yard penalty. It's still going to be third down.
It's straight up a strategy. You put your offense out, make it look like you're going to go for it on third down. See if you can draw the Winnipeg defense offside. It looked like they had one early in the count, but you have to snap the ball right when that player enters the neutral zone. They didn't get that done. You can see the little bit of frustration on Ryan Dinwiddie's face, and now they'll go and take the 3 points.
They tried it a couple of times in the second half in Montreal, but the Alouettes wouldn't bite. They do try it a lot. Liram Hira-Lau, the Grey Cup winning kick for Toronto back in 2017 on looking for the first points of this Grey Cup with John Haggerty putting it down. The Argos drive down. They get close. They settle for 3. Opening points of the 111th Grey Cup at BC Place. A little more unconventional for this team, the way they started at 0-4, but they really came on late in the season.
Yeah, only won 2 of their first 6 and 10 of their last 11. So it was a very strong finish for head coach Michael O'Shea, who is the first head coach to 5 straight Grey Cups since Hugh Campbell.
Back in those Edmonton dominant days of the late 70s and early 80s when they won 5 in a row. First and 10 at the Winnipeg 40 after the field goal. Colaros looking to his left. Finds a receiver. It's Kenny Lawler, the big target. Lawler had that explosive game against the Riders in the West Final, and he has one here for a first down.
He uses that waggle to his advantage, and then just a deep out route away from that inside coverage from Mark Milton. He tried to stay on that outside shoulder, but because of the route here from Kenny Lawler,
Second down.
that little juke got him to the outside and open. But let's see, does he step out of bounds? He does. That first foot, the right foot. You only need one, but that heel touched the white stripe.
What would have been a 22-yard pickup, and Kenny Lawler's first Grey Cup catch in this game is taken away, taken off the board, and it's back to the 40 for a second down and 10. Lawler injured earlier in the season in week 1 against Montreal. They were really missing him the first half of the season. Second and 10. Colaros stands in, gets rid of it, looking for Nick Dembski, and hits the turf here at BC Place, and a third and 10 coming up.
When these two teams played in the regular season, both were low-scoring games, and in fact, the Toronto Argonaut defense got to Zach Colaros 12 times in 2 games. 12 sacks generated by the Argos on defense, so trying to control that pressure could be a big key in this game.
So Janarian Grant goes back, had a very good return to set up the Argos the first time around. Second time, the punter Jamison Sheehan is out from Bendigo, Australia. Kicking it away for Winnipeg and sending it to number 3. 50-yard punt. Here comes Grant, and not this time. He is tackled nicely by Nick Hallett, a special teams ace. So Toronto in a long drive worked down the last time they had the ball for the opening points of the 111th Grey Cup.
Thank you, Commissioner Ambrosi, for your outstanding leadership and contributions to the CFL over the past 8 years. We really appreciate everything that you have done for the league.
record 16-2 in the regular season, didn't get to the Grey Cup. This time for Ryan Dinwiddie, a record of 10-8, but like Winnipeg, steadily got better down the stretch.
Well, and had to knock off the Montreal Alouettes, the reigning champions from last year, to get here. And for 3 straight seasons, Ryan Dinwiddie's group will have a winning record, have more than 10 or more wins over those 3 seasons, and 2 visits to the Grey Cup, of course, winning in dramatic fashion back in 22.
So the Argos have the ball again in a 3-0 lead, starting after 25. Nick Arbuckle. And handing off Kadeem Carey again. This is the 6th carry so far for Kadeem Carey in a busy first quarter.
Well, both these teams have outstanding running games. I mean, Kadeem Carey looking for his first Grey Cup ring, but it's an experienced tailback, very different style than Brady Oliveira, who we'll see in the Bomber offense.
And a 5-yard pickup for Carey. Actually, he was on the Stampeders, but not enough for a ring. Didn't play in that game. He saw what it was all about, though, and this game means so much to him. 4 receivers to the right. Going that way, Evan Holm, the leader in defensive plays for Winnipeg, coming right in there on Mackay Pope.
It's going to be a great matchup all game long, Rod, to see the rookie Mackay Pope, the 1,000-yard receiver for the Argos this year, who'd had a great second half of the season. 5 of his last 7 games, over 100 yards receiving, but he's up against Evan Holm, and Evan Holm had an outstanding Western final. The Saskatchewan Roughriders tried to get it to their #1 target, Sam Emelis, and Evan Holm shut that down.
He met Polk right away, but Polk still got 6 yards and enough for the first down up to the Argo 36. Already past the midway point of this first quarter. The Argos leading with the ball, and Arbuckle swinging it off to the right, coming back. Taking that is DeMonte Cokesy, but nowhere to go. Celestin Haba pushes him back. It's lost yardage for the Argos on that play.
Both these defenses outstanding, and for some different reasons. There's been sort of a turnover for a lot of different players. No Adam Bighill in the middle for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I know that name people are very used to, but he is out. Tony Jones gets to start in his place, but this team still outstanding on that side of the ball, especially in the second half of the year.
Yeah, a lot of changes. Took them a while to gel, and they certainly have. And a loss of 7. 3-man rush. Arbuckle just screens it off, and nice tackle again by Michael Griffin coming in on Kadeem Carey, which will force the Argos to punt it away.
Goes in as an extra defensive back. Michael Griffin will come in, and what Nick Arbuckle's trying to do here is just with everybody, because of the loss earlier in the down, just trying to drop off and allowing Arbuckle or forcing him to throw it underneath with the screen. Carey gets tackled immediately by Michael Griffin.
So it's John Haggerty of Sydney, Australia. And to punt this, he also punted for Toronto back in 2022. Second in the league in net punting average. And getting that one away to Lucky Whitehead down at the 32, a 52-yard punt. Whitehead. And forced out at around the 43. Bombers get the ball back, down by 3. Zach Collaros knows the joy of winning a Grey Cup, but he knows the pain of losing as well. Let's go down to Claire Hanna.
He sure does, Rod. And last year, when Zach Collaros and the Bombers lost the Grey Cup, Collaros told me it took him over a month to finally rewatch that game against Montreal. And when he finally did, he called up offensive lineman Patrick Neufeld, and the two just vented. They said it was cathartic. They said they went over passes that should have been completions, and they said, how can we challenge each other this offseason? Well, you'd think they'd be comfortable playing in their 5th straight Grey Cup, but he said it is so hard to get here. You never take this moment for granted. And regardless of what happens on the field today, win or loss, he said a week from now, their group chat is going to blow up, and the first topic will be, how could we win the Grey Cup next year, guys?
Well, this time Claire with the ball handing off to Brady Oliveira, and that one was not going anywhere. The Argos have been very good against this Winnipeg rush as well this season.
That's because they have one of the best middle linebackers in the game in Winton McManus. I asked him if he was using the fact that the Bombers were big-time favorite to win this game as motivation, and he said, last time I checked, when we kick it off, it's 0-0.
Makes that point, makes it emphatically too. On a 2nd and 9 for just 1 yard, and airing it out deep again. Caught Ontario Wilson. They keep chucking him down, and there's the payoff. Big reception, biggest play offensively for the Bombers.
The safety Metier dropped deep, but he turned his hips to the field, and that's when Zach Collaros decided, I'm going back the opposite side, right down the rail to the rookie in Ontario Wilson. 1,000-yard season, first Grey Cup, 25 years old out of Florida State.
Ontario Wilson, they also call him Pokey. And a gain of 49, and the leading rookie receiver in the CFL at 1,026. Faking to Oliveira, dumping it off now to Kevin Clarcius, the rookie out of Connecticut, who's from Montreal, and he is knocked down just inside the 10.
It's quite unusual to see 2 defensive tackles lead the league in sacks, but that's exactly what Jake Serezna and Ralph Hawley did this year. Tied for the league lead in sacks. Winton McManus, we talked about, great leader in that defense. And how about Benji Franklin in the playoffs? 3 interceptions in 2 games.
Couple touchdowns there too for Franklin. Well, after the Argos went all the way down to goal to go, it's the Bombers' turn. And on that 2nd and 3, pushing through, it will indeed be a 1st and goal coming up here for Winnipeg, with Oliveira driving his way through. He had 119 yards rushing and a touchdown last year in the Grey Cup.
Well, when the MOP gets 100 yards rushing, the Bombers win. In the regular season, with Brady Oliveira as the starting tailback, when he gets 100 yards, they're 17-0 in the regular season. 4-1 coming in the playoffs or postseason. The only loss was last year when he had 100 yards rushing. But Montreal, in their last drive of the game, won the Grey Cup.
When the Bombers get close to the goal line, they bring in quarterback Terry Wilson. It had been Chris Strebler, got hurt mid-season. Wilson 6. 1st and goal at the Toronto 3. He keeps it. He pushes. Still on his feet. And into the end zone for a Winnipeg touchdown. No problem with short yardage that time, as they had in the regular season against the Argos.
Wasn't on the 1-yard line either. You're talking about back there on the 3-yard line, but look at the push from the right side of the offensive line for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Eric Lofton, Patrick Neufeld that Claire just talked about out of the University of Saskatchewan, 13-year veteran. What a great push, reestablishing the line back inside the goal line.
All set up with that big pass of 49 yards from Zach Collaros to Ontario Wilson to get him close. And Sergio Castillo puts it through, converting on that touchdown by Terry Wilson as the Bombers change the lead. They're in front, looking to get back in the win column in the Grey Cup in their 5th straight appearance.
Touchdown drive by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers starts with a big throw down the sideline to Ontario Wilson. Get things started, push those DBs back, loosen up the defense a little bit, then he goes underneath and then finish off in short yardage by Terry Wilson.
In his first year out of New Mexico, as said, had been number 3 on the depth, moving up after the injury to Chris Strebler, and Brady Oliveira chipping in as well. A couple of carries so far in this, but a fly play, 67-yard drive, and about 3.5 minutes. We're almost through a quarter here. Grey Cup 111. The Argos had the first 3 points, but back came Winnipeg with an impressive drive to take this lead as Janarian Grant goes back again.
both these teams been inside the 5-yard line in this first quarter. One team decided to go for it down there and first down, get short yardage. They scored the major. Ryan Dinwiddie decided to take a field goal.
Hence the difference right now, and a penalty on the kickoff by Castillo goes out of bounds. You can see how mindful they are about their old teammate,
Illegal kick out of bounds. Winnipeg, number 14. It's going to be first down for Toronto at their 50-yard line.
Yeah, that's what I meant about that. He will, by his presence, Janarian Grant could affect the field position in a positive way for the Toronto Argonauts. Just trying to keep it away from him and out of his hands may eat up some of that field position.
I remember the Grey Cup a year ago when Grant was with Winnipeg, and Montreal punter Joseph Zima, who was the best in the league last year, had 2 punts out of bounds and not nearly as far as he normally would have because mindful of number 3.
We got Rebel right, Z change, R fly. 60 Ruby, backside cross read, T wide on the foot. Ready?
Last play of the quarter, we see Janarian Grant in on offense. He had a big catch of 47 yards from Chad Kelly last week in the Eastern Final. So they'll use him on offense too. First quarter comes to an end here on this play. And off to the right. It is caught by Janarian Grant. Coming in, Tyrell Ford has been their star on the corner with that play, but Grant picks up about 5 more yards. Beautiful scene here in Vancouver, BC for Grey Cup 111. The Argos and Bombers meeting for the second time in 3 years. After 1 quarter, it's Winnipeg leading it 7-3. Through 1 quarter at BC Place in Grey Cup 111, the Bombers lead by 4. Here's a look at the numbers. But it's not over just turnovers. It's big plays that can really decide a championship game. We've seen a big play out of Winnipeg in this one.
Yeah, Ontario Wilson with that big 49-yard catch. That's 49 yards of their 59 passing yards. But clearly, Zach Collaros is going after this secondary. He's trying to throw it deep. He's trying to loosen up the defense for the Argos. A couple of deep shots to Kenny Lawler was very close. Didn't come up with those catches. One was out of bounds, and then Wilson got him on the board. So Collaros aggressive in that first quarter, trying to push the ball down the field.
Was wondering how they would establish Brady Oliveira, the most outstanding player this year so far. The Argos have done a pretty good job against him. Oliveira with 2 carries for 8 yards. That's it for Ryan Dinwiddie, who started in a Grey Cup as a quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, thrown into the fire after an injury to Kevin Glenn in the 07 Eastern Final, and that was Dinwiddie's first start. He can certainly relate a little bit to what Nick Arbuckle's going through.
Yeah, that was a real narrative all week long, getting ready for this game. And, you know, he kept telling everyone that would listen that it's a little different because Nick Arbuckle is 30 years old. He's had 25 starts. For Ryan Dinwiddie back at that time, that was his first start in the Canadian Football League in the Grey Cup.
And Winnipeg ended up losing to Saskatchewan in a close 123-19 in that game in Toronto back in 2007. Here's Nick Arbuckle on a 2nd and 5 to start the second quarter. Completes that pass back at midfield. DeMonte Coxie is pushed back. And then he is swarmed by a sea of blue and gold. And you see where they spot the football, but it will be short of a first down. And John Haggerty is coming out.
And a lot of people talking with Ryan Dinwiddie and Nick Arbuckle leading up to this game about, you know, what does he need to do to win? And one was not turn it over, but you can't get too conservative either. And you saw Zach Collaros, the veteran, here 5 years in a row. He's pushing the ball down the field. He's playing this game to win in the first quarter, pushing it, taking those deep shots. Arbuckle can't be satisfied with these underneath throws.
So the Bombers coming off a touchdown drive will get the ball again. Lucky Whitehead after a 37-yard punt by John Haggerty. And he is knocked down right at the Winnipeg 30. Brady Oliveira. Over 1,300 yards rushing to lead the way in the CFL for a second straight season. And join a very regal class among the star Canadian running backs in the history of the CFL. Normie Kwong with Edmonton in 55, 56. He did it in back-to-back seasons of over 1,000 yards. John Cornish in 12 and 13 and 14 with Calgary. And a guy who was a mentor to Brady Oliveira, Andrew Harris. What a run Winnipeg's had at Canadian running back.
And right behind Andrew, Brady Oliveira. It's remarkable, too, that 9 of the last 12 years, Canadians have led the league at the tailback position. rushing the football. And I thought his speech for the MOP was outstanding when he said he wants to inspire young Canadians to believe that if they work hard, if they make sure they're the first one in, the last one to leave, keep that dream alive, they could play a skilled position at the pro level in Canada.
Back-to-back years leading the CFL in rushing. Brady Oliveira. Empty backfield here, though, and that's thrown, and Nick Dembski, another outstanding Canadian player with the Bombers, can't hang on there. It falls down, and it's a 2-and-out for Winnipeg. 3rd down and 5 coming up.
That's a big hit by Wynton McManus, who is not only a great run stopper. We've talked about his leadership abilities already, but he can make a play on the ball now. Couple forced fumbles in the Eastern Final, had an interception in the Eastern Semifinal against Ottawa. He closes quickly.
3rd 2-and-out for Winnipeg's offense so far this game. The 4th, though, was a touchdown. They punt this time, a 40-yarder for Jamison Sheehan. Janarian Grant spins, but yards coming at a premium. Nick Arbuckle, starting QB in the Grey Cup. A look at great Argo QBs in the past. Ricky Ray, Doug Flutie, ditching Nick Arbuckle, throwing into the role of starting quarterback in a Grey Cup, like his head coach Ryan Dinwiddie. With more, let's head down to Matthew Chenet.
Yes, Rod. Just like Ryan Dinwiddie in 2007, when he was a sudden starter for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in that Grey Cup, he understands what's going through Nick Arbuckle's mind today, but they're also very different. Nick Arbuckle has over 24 starts in the CFL. He was the starting quarterback of the Ottawa Red Blacks, but then became a trade piece, and all through that on-field adversity, he kind of understood what the game can give and then take away. And personally as well, during COVID, he and his pregnant wife, Zykia, could not go back to the United States to see their families, but he's also dealt with the kind of personal tragedy of losing his mother when he was a teenager. He carries mementos of his mother, a quilt and a photo, and he said to me before the game, I think about my family all the time. Their drive, their passion has led me here.
And Canadian carry, Matthew, on that one. That rush up to about the 42. Imagine those suits. The Nick Arbuckle's work permit ran out in July, or was going to run out before he decided to extend it, which was probably a pretty good idea.
Good idea. It turned out pretty good. And, you know, we'll see how he plays in this game. But, you know, at one point, Nick Arbuckle, we were all saying, was going to be the next one. You know, he was playing behind Bo Levi Mitchell in Calgary. You know, his arrow was pointed up, no question, and you just started to think that this guy could be a starter and franchise guy for a team. It's been an interesting journey since.
2nd and 6, looking deep right, and no, Dejan Brissett. It's Dietrich Nichols in coverage there, but he couldn't hang on to the ball, and it's a 3rd and 6, a quick 2-and-out by the Argo offense as well.
But honestly, that's a good sign, and I say that because it's a good sign because he's taking a shot deep. Not going to be conservative every single drive, not going to just sort of try to manage the game. I keep hearing that from a lot of people, including at one point his head coach and Ryan Dinwiddie saying we expect him to manage the game. I think he's got to do more than that to win.
2nd 2-and-out in a row by the Argo offense. John Haggerty back, standing at his 27. Single returner is Lucky Whitehead inside his 20. Whitehead back in Winnipeg, where he started his CFL career, went to BC for a few years and came back this year. He gets it up across the 25. Great coaches in Bomber history. There's one, Mike O'Shea, the man he passed on the right, Bud Grant, for all-time wins. Mike Riley, top left, won a couple of Grey Cups. Rod Smith, Glenn Suter back at BC Place in Grey Cup 111, where the Argos trail by 4. But defenses have been, so far, taking the initiative in this Grey Cup as they did in the regular season. Low-scoring, close games between these two then. As the ball's moved up close to the 30 on that carry there by Brady Oliveira. Halftime coming up. The Jonas Brothers performing here at BC Place. And, of course, we'll hear from Kate and Ches and Maddie and Milton. Enoch as well. That's panel number 1. We also have James Duthie, Jim Barker, Bo Levi Mitchell with us, and Paul Lapalisse as well. There'll be lots to talk about, and we've got it covered for you. At the half, presented by Twisted Tea. Grey Cup 111. 2nd and 6, Collaros 2 for 5. 2 for 5 on 2nd downs, and handing that one off. And a big run, biggest of this Grey Cup for Brady Oliveira, the CFL's leading rusher.
Yeah, look looked like he got almost tripped up right at the line of scrimmage here, Rob. Brady Oliveira takes this little delayed screen in the middle. Parrish runs by him, just gets a hand on him. You're not going to bring him down with just a hand. Big game by Brady Oliveira, and the head slapping begins.
And he seems to get better as the game rolls along and as the season rolls along in the big games late in the year come playoff time. Watch out for number 20. It's 5 carries for 34 now and a 1st and 10. Winnipeg 47. And off to the side now, and it's Ontario Wilson. But the biggest play for the Bomber offense in this game with a 47-yard catch earlier gets that one up close to midfield.
I mentioned Brady Oliveira, the MOP in the Canadian Football League, was also the outstanding Canadian. And only 3 other Canadians have won both awards in the history of the CFL. John Cornish, who we've talked about, his best year, over 1,800 yards rushing. And, of course, one of your favorites, Rod, well, Russ Jackson.
As a kid growing up in Ottawa, I remember the legend Russ Jackson, who had this distinction 3 times. His final game was in the Grey Cup in 1969. 2nd and 4. Right near midfield at the Bomber 53. Kalara's throwing, and it's caught by Kenny Lawler. Now he's got a catch. They took one back in the first quarter, but another big first down. Winnipeg on the move.
Yeah, got him isolated all by himself against Benji Franklin. Franklin thinks he's got inside help, so he's going to stay on that outside shoulder, which is exactly where Lawler wants him, because he's running an inside break. And that cut on post route generates 22 yards.
Kenny Lawler has himself another Grey Cup catch. Running back is Johnny Augustine. The fake to him, rolling to the right. Polaris looks further down, and wide open is Wilson again. 10, and gets down close to the 6 before he is pushed down by Metier. But the rookie, Wilson, having a busy Grey Cup so far.
Crossing route from Wilson from one side all the way across to the other side of the formation. He's going to start here, but this is designed to get Zach Collaros out of the pocket and on the run. So you got Wilson, who's getting a run at it, so he's going to line up with his quarterback by the time he gets out there and is ready to throw. Outstanding design of this play from Buck Pierce, the offensive coordinator.
Pokey Wilson targeted 4 times, 4 catches, 84 yards so far in this Grey Cup. And Winnipeg is threatening again. It's a 1st and goal down at the Toronto 8.
What is it?
Handing off, no, faking it. Pump fake, and throwing it away is Collaros. Used Oliveira well there, and tucked it in, but couldn't find a receiver, so look for another play. 2nd and goal at the Toronto 8.
Yeah, it looked like there was some confusion at the line of scrimmage there, almost like they had a formation issue. Zach Collaros deciding to throw it away. So the offensive coordinator, Buck Pierce, is down at field level. I just say that because Nick Dembski hustled to the line of scrimmage, so he covered down the offensive line, or they would have had a penalty on that play.
Already halfway through the 2nd quarter. Winnipeg looking to increase its lead in the 2nd and goal. Collaros looks to run, but he's going nowhere. The Argos sacked him 12 times in 2 games in the regular season. Ralph Hawley in there. 1st-year Argo. Ceresna 2, and they take him down to force a 3rd down.
Well, and Florin Orimolade is also involved. He's going from off the line of scrimmage. It looks like it's a 3-man front, but Orimolade joins in, and he flushes him right into the hands of Robbie Smith.
Robbie Smith, veteran out of Wilfrid Laurier, who had some memorable plays. There's Orimolade, ex-Calgary Stampeder 2. Sergio Castillo is 6 for 6 in Grey Cups, 5 for 5 in 2021 in Hamilton, and he had 1 field goal, 1 for 1 in Hamilton a year ago. And that increases Winnipeg's lead to a touchdown. Castillo with the field goal after another good drive. Nick Arbuckle, what a journey it has been for him to suddenly start in Grey Cup 111. Nick Arbuckle started his CFL career with the Calgary Stampeders back in 2017, but he's been on the move. First to Ottawa, the pandemic year, didn't play, signed on in 21 with the Toronto Argonauts. Got traded to Edmonton late that season, and the next year, well, he was traded to go back to the nation's capital. Call him Arbuckle. This quarterback suddenly called back to the Argos this season after the suspension to Chad Kelly, and he was third in the depth just a couple of weeks ago and moved up to number 2, and of course with Kelly's injury in the Eastern Final. Here he is, thinking his career might be over, starting in the Grey Cup. What a story from the 40, flags out.
Well, it really is quite a journey, and you know, like I mentioned,
procedure, Toronto number 67. The 5-yard penalty will replay first down.
You know, Ryan Dinwiddie is very comfortable with Nick Arbuckle. They've worked together before. They've worked together back in Calgary. You know, this is a combination of pure trust. And I think back to the Eastern Final when Nick Arbuckle needed a couple of first downs to seal that game away from the Montreal Alouettes, and he went to his coach and he said, "What do you think?" He said, "You go. I got you. Trust you."
Some big plays on second and long that helped seal the deal for the Argos last week. He has time, and he just checks it down to Kadeem Carey, who's tackled nicely there. Coming in is the field side corner. That's Tyrell Ford after a pickup of 7 yards for Kadeem Carey.
Looked like he was down by contact. We'll take another look. Tyrell Ford, what a season. Year 2 out of Waterloo, 7 interceptions for Ford. Clearly, Kadeem Carey down by contact there.
Now that was after a 1st and 15, so they get it to a 2nd and 8 now at the Argo 42, now trailing by 7. Arbuckle again, it's caught. Kai Polk. Barely. It was just feathered in there for Polk, who takes it for a first down, Toronto, and it nearly could have gone the other way for the Bombers.
A game of inches. The inches you need are everywhere around you, and Diedrich Nichols thought he had a pick. He cut underneath that almost. I think he did touch the ball. He was so close, but outstanding concentration from Mackay Polk. Both hands up there, secures the catch, and gets a 15-yard gain.
Mackay Polk, outstanding rookie, the Argos' top rookie this year. He went over 1,000 in receiving yards. Has one in the Grey Cup. Winnipeg 53, Kadeem Carey. And on that rush, getting it closer to the 51. But once again, it's Taiwan Garbett and limiting the running of Carey on that play.
What really helps some of those underneath routes that you just saw from Mackay Polk is that deep shot that didn't happen for the Argos in the last series.
Carey's the feature running back, but they also have Deontay McMahon and Daniel Adamaboye, number 21, who is in the backfield now with Nick Arbuckle on a 2nd and 8 at the 51. Arbuckle looks deep right, down and caught. Demonte Coxey, one of the great big play receivers in the CFL. He showed that again last week, late in the first half in Montreal, with his first Grey Cup catch in a 36-yarder.
Ron, I thought initially Arbuckle just was off a little on his timing here. He has Coxey open in between coverage. Bonds up in the short coverage, and in behind him is Diedrich Nichols again. Looked like the timing was off, and Nichols was going to be able to cut underneath that, but Coxey gets up and wins the jump ball.
Excuse me, his 3rd catch of this game. His first Grey Cup catches, though. He was injured and couldn't play 2 years ago in this game. So here come the Argos. Adamaboye is in, picks up a couple more yards. The Canadian Toronto kid coming out of Bryant University, and the 3-minute warning has been given. Quick first half. The Argos down a touchdown, but threatening now.
I never signed up for this, but hell, I ain't mad about it. You should be paying me rent the way you're living.
Getting close to halftime here in Grey Cup 111. The Twisted Tea halftime show coming up, featuring the Jonas Brothers, and also featuring our panels: Kate Burness, Davis Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel, and Enoch Blom, and yes, James Duthie with Jim Barker, Paul Appleys, and Bo Levi Mitchell, who is a runner-up in the MOP race to Brady Oliveira, but terrific season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the end.
And none of those guys are going to sing.
At least they say they won't now. Oh, we got early movement there. Dejan Brissett and the flags coming out on the waggle, and a little bit early.
Offside, Toronto number 15. The 5-yard penalty will replay second.
It's a big penalty. Mackay Pope giving it the my bad.
Hey, we got Rebel left. Bombers 54. Ontario explode.
The Argos 6 for 10 on second down. And it's a 2nd and 13 now with that penalty. The Winnipeg 18. Down 7. Field goal range, looking for more, but no. Willie Jefferson, his mere presence.
Yep.
Working there, and Ryan Hunter barely touched Arbuckle, but down he went.
Well, you know, and I think Arbuckle has been listening to everyone all week saying you cannot turn the ball over. He's coming off the left side and coming around and really doesn't get even a piece of Arbuckle. He just kind of swipes at the ball, and I think Arbuckle felt that swipe and just wanted to protect the football, make sure he doesn't turn it over. Field goal's not a bad thing in this situation because he just missed the ball.
Well, he did touch him, and they have given him, Willie Jefferson, a sack. That is his 5th Grey Cup sack. The veteran who first appeared in the Grey Cup back with Edmonton in 2015. Here's Liram Hajrullahu. Looking to put 3 more on the board, and he is 2 for 2, and the lead is back down to 4. And Liram Hajrullahu was injured on the play just after the successful field goal and getting some help getting up.
Take another look. I was watching the ball go through the uprights, and on the follow-through, Daniel Adeboboye, who was trying to block for him, was getting pushed back into Hajrullahu and lands right on his leg there. It looked like maybe an ankle.
It was Tanner Cadwallader, 47, and Reddick Cramdy pushing through for the Bombers. And yes, Adeboboye in the midst there as well for the Argos. And that's his right leg favoring. And Liram Hajrullahu, the veteran kicker, back in the CFL this year for the first time in 5 years. And a veteran of Grey Cups too, but wincing and limping as you see. What a concern for the Argos and the importance of special teams, especially in a game like this against an opponent they've been so close against. And on the ground, and doing there for Brady Oliveira. Well, true power begins with control. From the epic Dune universe comes the next groundbreaking original series from HBO, Dune Prophecy. Stream now, only on Crave.
Lots of time for points here for Zach Collaros in this Bomber offense. Thanks to that man.
Yeah, Willie Jefferson credited with the sack. Stopped the Argos, forced the field goal. Winnipeg ball still up by 4. Under 2 minutes to go, but as you say, that is still an eternity. Deep look again! Intercepted this time! Benji Franklin. What a tear he's been on in the playoffs. He had a pick 6 against Ottawa. He had a pick 6 against Montreal, and now he has a Grey Cup interception of Zach Collaros.
Yeah, and Zach Collaros is not hesitating to push the ball down the field, but he's testing a guy, as you mentioned, Rod, that is hot in the playoffs and postseason. His 4th interception in this postseason. He's got pick 6s, and watch him climb the ladder here and go up and rip this one down. Great interception from one of the most athletic corners in the league. And in year 2, having a breakout season.
That was intended for Carrick Wheatfall, his first year with Winnipeg.
Interception by Toronto, and we're going to reset the game clock to 1:42. Bruce, please reset it to 1:42.
As announced by the referee, Ben Major.
That's how quickly things can change in the final 3 minutes of the half in the CFL or the final 3 minutes in the game.
But now comes the question with 1:42, if the Argos can drive into field goal range.
Exactly.
How is Liram
Who's kicking? Yeah, who's kicking?
Who would kick if he can't? We'll see how they move the ball here. They start inside the 30. Arbuckle throws, complete to Dejan Brissett. First down. it up across the 40. Well, can I say Benji Franklin has been electric? I've been waiting to say that. And there's some sample of his work in the playoffs.
That's the semifinal against Ottawa. Takes this one back to the house. First interception for a touchdown in the playoffs. Did it again in the final.
And that one intended for Polk. Just upwards of the 50, and good coverage there by Dietrich Nichols, falls incomplete. Well, let's have another look at what Benji Franklin has done in the playoffs.
This was in the Eastern Final against the defending champion Montreal Alouettes. And this is how one of the first series of the game really set the tone for that Argo defense.
Right off Walter Fletcher and right into his hands, and he took it in, and yeah, he's really been having a season, especially late in his third year out of Memphis.
Well, and led the team in passes defended as well. Has 60 defensive tackles, so he's not just making plays in the ball. He's doing that in the postseason for sure. He's getting his nose dirty as well.
From the Toronto 40, 1:27 on the clock till halftime. Lots of time for Arbuckle. Gets rid of it, completes it too, and a flip for Brissett. Right over Tyrell Ford, and another first down for the Argos.
Great composure, and it's Nick Arbuckle. We mentioned that he's had 25 starts. This is 26 in his pro career in Canada, so he's calm under pressure. He knows there's three-man rush, so he doesn't have to hurry things. Waits for Brissett to open up on the crossing route and then hits him. Dejan Brissett. A little sidearm throw from Nick Arbuckle and undercut by Tyrell Ford. Up over the top. Now after the incompletion, we're in a second and long for Arbuckle again.
After that play, Arbuckle went for Coxie, and it was broken up by Terrell Vaughn, so it's a 2nd and 10 now at the Winnipeg 54. Halftime looms, 1:10 on the clock. Can the Argos get more points on the board? Arbuckle running around and a flag is out. Tony Jones chasing him, and no, it's incomplete. Intended for carry. Arbuckle had a lot of time.
Illegal contact on the receiver. Winnipeg number 1. It's a 10-yard penalty. Make first down for Toronto.
But it's Nichols and the Bombers who get flagged for illegal contact.
Dietrich Nichols is shaking his head. He doesn't like the call. That throw to... Let's take a look at that penalty. That throw to Kadeem Carey was well covered. But here's Dietrich Nichols. Just a little too much, a little too physical outside of 5 yards on Mackay Pope.
Deontay McMahon is in, and the running back takes that shovel pass, and he's taken off too. Look at the gain by McMahon. A flag comes out inside the 15. He is finally tackled there by Evan Holm. But flags on the field back around the 23-24 yard line after a 29-yard pickup.
A bunch of flags out there. One at the line of scrimmage. One after the play had started and was developing, and that shovel pass is a forward pass.
There are 2 penalties on the play. They're both holding against Toronto. The first one is against number 58. This one is applied. We'll go back 10 yards. We'll replay first down. The second one's against number 64. That one's not applied. We're going to replay first down.
Flagging the 2 guards, Anthony Van Dell and Dylan Giffen. Bottom line, they do take one of those penalties to push Toronto back.
Yeah, I saw the one on Dylan Giffen. Retta Cramdy was on a blitz, and he grabbed him around the shoulder pads.
So a 1st and 20. It's back near midfield for Nick Arbuckle. First playoff start, let alone a Grey Cup. Throwing it and completing it to Mackay Pope, getting a lot of yardage back to about the 40. And with field goal range of Liram, who's down at the sideline and still moving around.
Well, that's a big play in this first half for Arbuckle, and a big throw to the out here to get it to Mackay Polk, because it eats up all of that penalty yards in one throw, plus gets them in makeable field goal position if Hairolahu is okay.
And looks like he would be coming in to attempt a field goal. If that's the case, Arbuckle's 14 of 17 for 143 in this first half. 2nd and 7. Winnipeg 41. Blitz coming, gets rid of it, completes it too, but well shy of the first down. So Hairolahu will be coming out. It's David Unger with the catch, taken down around the 39. And he still looks like he's slightly limping after that last field goal try. Let's get an update from Matthew.
Well, Ron, I've been watching Liram Hairolahu. As you can see, he is gingerly walking out there. He was attempting a kick with his kicking net. He was following through with the ball, but kept gesturing to the Argos medical staff that he was in discomfort. We'll see how this attempt turns out.
And Matthew, it's no chip shot. John Haggerty will put this ball down just inside the Winnipeg 45. Hairolahu had a terrific season in his return to the CFL. Good on over 90% of his kicks. His longest in the year was 47. And he is good. Sore leg and all. Liram Hairolahu, and you can still see him wincing in pain as he puts a very important 3 more points on the board for the Argos with only 16 seconds left until halftime. Earlier this morning, Canadian Football Hall of Fame Media Wing welcomed 2 new, very deserving members. Steve Daniel, the head statistician for years in the CFL, and our own Farhan Lalji for all the work he's done in our football coverage over the years. Congratulations to both of them.
Congratulations to both, no question. And thank you, Steve, for returning all those emails late at night when I was asking a question about stats.
A lot of people doing that. Well, Collaros takes a knee. Bombers will have the lead. But Hairolahu on 3 field goals, 3 for 3 in the night. He's got that 45-yarder to make it a 1-point game. In the regular season, Argos won them both, 16-14 and 14-11. Differences of 2 and 3 points. And now we get a difference of 1 at the half.
What is it?
With Winnipeg leading the way. What else would you expect but a close game between these two?
Well, Zach Collaros was very aggressive in that first half. Didn't hit on all those deep shots, but he did get the ball down the field a bunch. One to Ontario Wilson. That was that 49-yarder in the first quarter. So aggressively going after it down the field. I thought Arbuckle started to do that a little bit in the second quarter, which helped him open some things up underneath.
One of the big plays in that first half, Collaros to Ontario Wilson for 49 yards. He's standing by now with Claire.
Ontario, you're playing in your first Grey Cup right now, 4 catches for 85 yards. How are you rising to the occasion?
It's just amazing coming in here, trying to attack these guys and just come out on top.
Right now, you've been the most productive receiver with the Bombers. How do you continue to execute, and what does the rest of your offense need to do in the second half?
Just stay consistent. Everybody play their role. If we can do that, then we can come out and be victorious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go over to Matthew Shinetti with Benji Franklin.
Benji, your business in the postseason has been turnovers. What are you seeing out of offense so far in the postseason? You've got 4 picks.
They're giving us a lot of great looks. It's just film study. Just knowing what they're going to give us at all times and always be prepared for it at any moment.
You got a 1-point margin right now. How critical are turnovers going to be the rest of the game, you think?
It's going to be real great. Just to set up a good possession for our offense, get points from board anytime, you got to take it at any cost.
Thanks, Benji.
Thank you.
In Vancouver, a Grey Cup 111. We got a close one. What else would you expect between the Bombers and the Argos the way they played it this season? 10-9 at the half. A look at the numbers now, Glenn Suter. Toronto trailing by a point, but leading in a number of offensive categories.
Yes, and you look how both of these columns are so close. We got a 1-point game at halftime. The stats bear that out when you look how close they are. And boy, were they close games in the regular season when these two teams met.
Yeah, they really were in the first one in week 8. It came down to overtime, actually. One missed field goal, one made, 2-point difference. And then in week 19, late in the season, with the Bomber winning streak ended with the Argos winning by 3.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at this second half and see what these coaches have ready for us in the second half. Will Nick Arbuckle stay in this conservative manner, or is he going to start pushing the ball a little bit to guys like Mackay Polk and Coxie?
Yeah, they benefited from a turnover that got them down. The Argos did for a field goal. However, there was one touchdown scored in this game, and it went to Winnipeg. Brady Oliveira, 6 carries, 37 yards, longest to 17. And that's part of the story now. Kicker Liramaira Lahu was hurt on the second field goal, came on and kicked the third. You could tell he was in pain, but that was a 45-yarder. The second half of the Grey Cup is underway. Janarian Grant has it at the Argo 30, 35, breaks a tackle, and the ex-Bomber star returner, his first year with the Argos, has a return at 25 yards. Nick Arbuckle, 15 of 18 for 146 yards, no touchdowns, no picks.
Well, and he's got some big play receivers out there. When you think of Mackay Polk, he had 8 plays in the regular season of 30 yards or more. And yes, you understand why he would get conservative out of the gate, just to try and get him in a rhythm, get him comfortable, get him, in his first Grey Cup start, feeling relaxed in that pocket. He did push it a couple of times. A great play by DeMonte Coxie there. But, the Bombers might have something to say about it defensively, too.
First and 10. That one's caught. It's David Unger with the catch up around the 50.
That first half, Rod, I saw also the Bomber defense. I think the panel mentioned it as well, playing a lot of 3-man pressure and dropping 9, and that means that Nick Arbuckle can be more patient in the pocket. We can start maybe seeing some double moves to try and get the ball deep, even though there's that many people back in coverage. Jordan Younger's looking to play coverage and let those 3 guys try and force Nick Arbuckle out of the pocket.
So it's a 2nd and 2 after that 8-yard pickup for David Unger. And some confusion there with Kadeem Carey and Arbuckle, but it worked out. He gets it up across midfield and picks up a first down.
Heads up play by Nick Arbuckle there to get that first down. That was a busted play, but you take a look at that Bomber defense. We talked about the changes when we started the show, but look at the statistics. When you look at them year over year, still ranked number 1, and the most important being, of course, the points allowed. If you can hold a team to under 25, you have a good chance to win. You start holding them to under 20, that's something.
First and 10 right at midfield. Opening possession, second half in a close Grey Cup. Arbuckle throwing to the right, reaching forward is Unger. Too far, heads out of bounds. Tyrell Ford is there with him. And we got a second down and long coming up for Toronto.
Yeah, Dave Unger couldn't get out of his break there. He just got into the hole and he couldn't dig his way out of it. And Tyrell Ford was hanging out right beside him. What a season for the Waterloo grad. 26-year-old Tyrell Ford, his brother Trey, of course, right now still in Edmonton.
On the foot, ready?
Breakout season with 7 picks for number 30.
Hey, just a leak.
Can he get a Grey Cup pick? He predicted 8.
He predicted 8. This would be a good spot to get number 8. With time, Arbuckle on the second down. No, incomplete. Intended for Dejan Brissett. Nick Taylor, who won a Grey Cup with Ottawa back in 2016, and back with the Bombers this year, is in coverage there.
4 tackles in the Western Final for Nick Taylor. And this again, plays to their coverage strategy. It's interesting because when you look at what you might do if you're facing Arbuckle in his first start in the Grey Cup is to send pressure, see if he can handle pressure, and that's not what the Bombers are doing so far.
John Haggerty standing back at his 40. Lucky Whitehead, the lone returner back for Winnipeg. Bombers with a 1-point lead in Grey Cup 111. Just early here in the second half and about to start their first possession here of the third quarter as Whitehead lets it bounce, and it does roll into the end zone. You got to be careful with Haggerty, though. He can put a little bit of spin on it and have it roll back, but he doesn't quite get the spot he wanted to. They end up putting a Rouge on the board. 10-10 tie. Tom Lawrence, Kenny Plain, legendary Bomber quarter. We just want to give a big shout out to our boss, Vice President and Executive Producer of the CFL on TSN for many years, Paul Graham. This is his last Grey Cup here with TSN, and what an influence, Glenn, he has had on our product over, well, about a decade and a half.
Yeah, no question. Great producer in the truck on his own, and great executive producer, great leader for our group. And there he is down on the sideline. Congratulations to Paul Graham. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. Moves on, and he's heading to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
He's going straight to the beach.
Well, I can't imagine him not getting busy again with something in a while, because he's been that way for us. PG, on behalf of all of us, thank you. Congratulations, too, for all your time here in the CFL on TSN and helping this product become what it has, culminating with a day like this. Grey Cup 111, first and 10 Winnipeg. Now a 10-10 tie after the single point was scored on the punt by Haggerty. It's in the hands of Brady Oliveira, who comes into that. Now 7 carries for Oliveira, the CFL's leading rusher, but yards coming at a premium against this Argo defense.
Yeah, not surprised, though, that Buck Pierce would come out in this second half and think, you know what, we got to get number 20 involved a little bit more. This offense for the last couple of years has gone through number 20, has gone through Brady Oliveira. Get that run game going, getting second and medium. Dembski starts getting involved in play action.
He's got 7 carries for 42 yards. It's a 2nd and 5 from the Winnipeg 45, Caleros. He dumps it down over the middle. It is incomplete. Wow. Quentin McManus, Argo's defensive star, breaking that one up for Caleros and the Bombers, and their 4th 2 and out in this game.
Mentioned playing the ball and how quick he is to. This is Nick Dembski. This is one of the toughest guys to cover for defensive backs, let alone middle linebackers, and Quentin McManus closes quickly. That's a couple of knockdowns and passes defended when Dembski's been the intended target.
Jamison Sheehan back at his 30. 2 back in the return, along with Janarian Grant, Deontay McMahon. Be at the top of your screen. And that one is heading left to Grant. 49-yard punt. The flag comes out right away as he is pushed out of bounds. Brandon Alexander on the coverage. And just a gorgeous night in Vancouver. Beautiful BC plays their first Grey Cup in 10 years. It's a 10-10 Cup brought to you by WestJet. Nick Arbuckle, not too bad suits in his first Grey Cup start.
Well, not at all. In fact, if he keeps up with that completion percentage, he'll set a Grey Cup record at over 80, 154 yards so far. Brady Oliveira won't be surprised if we don't see him get the ball a lot more in this second half. And we got a 1-point game.
And the Argos further back after a holding penalty on the punt return. So Nick Arbuckle barely out of his end zone here in the first down from the 8, throwing off the rookie Kevin Mittal has a Grey Cup catch. A star at Laval. Mittal, who started the season on the 6-game injured list, he gets a taste of the action now.
Yeah, and we're tied, I should say, not a 1-point game. And that big number 10 on that catch on first down put Nick Arbuckle in second and manageable here. Was a reminder that we're locked up at 10 apiece. But the stage has not been too big for Nick Arbuckle so far.
And that was a completion to his 9th receiver so far in this game, at a 2nd and 4 after the 6 by Mittal. Drafted 5th overall in the draft in 24. Here's Arbuckle to throw again. And he completes it again, and a first down. That's Tavares Daniels. Rookie of the year with Calgary back in 2016. Won the Cup with the Stamps in 2018, and another with the Argos 2 years ago.
Dylan Giffen is going to tip with the right hand. He's going to give Nicastro, the center right here, he's going to give him a little tap. And anytime after that, he can snap the football, and then a dart from Arbuckle over the middle to Tavares Daniels.
Daniels is the active leader in Grey Cup receiving yards. Active leader in receiving yards in the CFL in general. Faking the handoff and throwing again and completing again to Tavares Daniels. But this time a flag does come out as he gets it up across the 40.
Late flag, though. Well after the fact, but Daniels going to need a little attention. going to say that tap from Dylan Giffen there to Nicastro on snap count.
Contact on the receiver, Winnipeg number 32. The penalties declined because the gain is greater. The result of the play is a first down for Toronto.
This Grey Cup crowd here in Vancouver really feels like and sounds like a Winnipeg crowd. And of course, they would travel well getting out here from the west, and a little tougher for Argo fans to make that long trip, but that's why the center and guard have that communication without verbal communication, and that's great second effort from Daniels.
They got good practice last week in Montreal with all those air horns.
Absolutely.
Having to deal with that as a visiting team, and they wound up winning that game with Arbuckle coming on for the injured Chad Kelly in the fourth quarter. Here now in the third of the Grey Cup, and running is Kadeem Carey, who breaks a tackle. One of the best at breaking tackles and picking up more yardage, as he has a good pickup there on first down of 7 yards, and a 2nd and 3 coming up.
Almost looks like when you've watched Kadeem Carey play throughout the years that he is out of control when he's running, but he's not. He's in complete control. It just looks like he's out of control, which makes him a tough target to hit. He's hopping, he's twisting, he's pounding, he's diving. Nice gain on first down. This is already a successful drive for the Argos, because even if they have to punt from here, they've swapped field position.
Kadeem Carey was third in the CFL in rushing yards with 1,005. Led the CFL in rushing 2 years ago when he was with the Stampeders. 2nd and 3, flags out. And Carey has it. Now, it did look like one of the waggling receivers for the Argos might have crossed the line of scrimmage well before the snap of the ball.
We better, we better explain
Offside.
the waggling. It was Kevin Mital that was offside. He was in that neutral zone, and if you're just watching your first Canadian Football League game, the waggle is that motion before the snap of the ball that receivers are allowed to hit the line running going downhill.
Hey, hold on, Nick.
And it looks like they may have, the command center may have in real time just come down and said he was actually onside, and they're going to give him the play.
On review by the replay official, there is no penalty for Toronto being offside. The result of the play is a first down for Toronto.
Look at number 10. He's right. Well, looks like you're right. It was left foot.
Stop the huddle.
That left foot hadn't touched. The ball was snapped.
Good look by the command center, because when you watch that game speed, it looks like he's across, but the replay does say otherwise. Toronto 53 and a 1st and 10 Argos. Tie game. Deontay McMahon, the running back, a fake to him and a throw, and it coming back to the ball. Incomplete pass now. That was Daniels with Nick Taylor on him.
See what they did there with Dante McMahon, getting him running across the formation. And Matt Dunnigan at halftime in our panel talked about getting the ball to number 24 a little bit more. He had some big plays. One was taken back because of dual holding calls at the line of scrimmage. But I would agree with our Hall of Fame quarterback that getting 24 the ball could create something.
53-yard line, just inside the Argo zone in the 2nd and 10 Arbuckle. Pressure coming, and they bat it away. It's a loose ball, still loose, but it looks like ultimately the Argos get on it. It looks like the center, Peter Nicastro, scrambling to pick up that football after Willie Jefferson came in and slapped the ball out of the hands of Nick Arbuckle.
Willie Jefferson is such a unique athlete at the rush end position. That's the outstanding lineman of the year in Ryan Hunter. He's going one-on-one with at left tackle. Great feet and hands around the corner, and the strip on Nick Arbuckle.
There aren't too many in the history of this game that have had a reach as great as Willie Jefferson. It could be a nightmare for quarterbacks. Nearly there for the Argos, who at least get to kick it away. Haggerty again, and back for Lucky Whitehead. Inside is 15, right down to the 10.
Oh.
Ball comes out. Who has it? Whitehead coughed it up, and the Argos recover. Biggest turnover so far in this game, and once again, it's the Bombers who lose the ball. Argos winning the turnover battle in this game, and they are set up nicely in a 10-10 tie. Fraser Sopik knocks it loose.
With this initially, juggling it a little bit and loses the handle right there, but Fraser Sopik, who was first of all giving him the necessary 5 yards and then closing quick enough so he couldn't regroup as the ball was bouncing out of his arm there. Fraser Sopik got a Western, got a bunch of starts on defense this year, was injured, came back and makes a big play on the special teams. Jack Cassar gets the fumble recovery.
Cassar, who's tied for the CFL lead in special teams tackles with a big fumble recovery. Here come the Argos now. Mital, 10-5, touchdown. Just like that for the Argos. After the turnover, an unlikely Grey Cup starter Nick Arbuckle has thrown a touchdown pass. 17 yards right after Sopik, the Argos, and Cassar with the recovery. One play on offense, and Toronto's found the end zone for the first time in this game.
It's the quick release of Nick Arbuckle that makes it happen. He's got pressure coming at him on the play action, but he gets it out there quick enough so Mital can turn the corner and get a chance to see what he has in front of him as far as tacklers for the Bombers. He hurdles the last one. Touchdown Argos.
Kevin Mital, taken 5th overall in the draft. A star at Laval. Not only won a national championship, he had won the Heck Crichton Trophy as the top Canadian university player as well. And he now has a Grey Cup touchdown. From Saint-Hubert, Quebec, just east of Montreal. And Liram Hairelau, injured in the first half, but still went 3 for 3, including a 45-yarder after he got hurt. This from 32 and the point after. And he seems just fine. And it's now a 7-point lead for the Argos. Their first lead since they opened things up with a field goal to start this game.
When you take a look at the play action here, this is Kadeem Carey on the play action just to the right of Arbuckle. And Mital comes down in motion and then shoots out to the flat. But see that pressure so quick on Arbuckle, he's got to have that quick release or that play doesn't happen. Diedrich Nichols got caught underneath, so he didn't have the angle to make the tackle, and Mital at the other end will hurdle the final tackler for the Bombers. Big play off the turnover.
We always talk about the importance of points off turnovers. The Argos get it there. Turnovers a factor, Suits, in the regular season. In the 2 games that these two teams played, Winnipeg turned it over 9 times, Toronto only 3.
When you turn it over, man, you just, especially on the teams, as Fraser Sopik did on that play, you see the offense put it in the end zone, you get that momentum, makes it all that much sweeter.
Yeah, you talk about Canadian University success. Sopik was a star linebacker at Western and top player in the Vanier Cup back in 2017 on defense. And Kevin Mital, the star from Laval, gets that touchdown. And Lucky Whitehead, who coughed up the ball last time, has it there up to the Winnipeg 35. And Collaros and the Bombers now find themselves in a 7-point hole.
Yeah, a little more sense of urgency, but not panic. And there's no one that knows that better than a guy who started in 5 consecutive Grey Cups.
In 8 possessions, the Winnipeg offense, 4 2-and-outs. 1 pass was picked off. And don't forget the lost fumble in the punt. Most recently on special teams for the Bombers. But offense back out now. Collaros faking the handoff, throwing it off to the left, and it's incomplete. Intended for Nick Dembski, who has been a star for years with the Bombers, but still does not have a catch in this game, and he is slow to get up.
Doesn't have a catch because of the play of Wynton McManus on a couple of those middle routes that Nick Dembski has run so far tonight. This one, not like that. He's away from the middle linebacker out on the sideline, but when he reached out for that, something happened with that right leg. Royce Metier closing quickly.
Dembski at the 36 and a second and 10. Collaros, that is caught. McManus right on him. And that's on Claricius, and now that ball came out right away, and it's a 2-and-out, incomplete pass.
That's the 3rd pass breakup that Wynton McManus has executed in this game. I mean, any of those inside routes, he is breaking hard on him.
So another 2 and out for Winnipeg as the momentum is clearly swung in favor of the double blue with Deontay McMahon back there with Janarian Grant.
One of the ways that Zach Collaros can try to get Wynn McManus out of that area is to have an over and under look. Under receiver to try and pull him up.
There's Janarian Grant. The flag comes out too as he's pushed out of bounds and around the Argo 40. McManus, leader of that Argo defense, Matthew Shinetti, is going to have more on him and the impact he's had with Toronto in 2024. This Grey Cup, middle linebacker for the Argos, Wynton McManus, had 3 defensive tackles so far. He's been breaking up passes as well, and he has Grey Cup experience. He knows what it takes to win. A leader too. Let's get back to Matthew.
Because he saw both Alex Singleton, a former Stamps teammate who won the Grey Cup in 2018, and Enoch Mwamba, who won it in 22, lead. And Wynn McManus always said, I know I can lead tonight. Great business is how he ends every statement, but his Argos teammates say that comes after he says the right thing or makes the right play. We've seen it tonight. I actually talked to Alex Singleton this week. He said Wynn McManus has always been a good, talented player, outspoken, but in the right way because he wants to lead. And Toronto Argonauts, Singleton said, are only in this position because of Wynn McManus. And I can tell you, Rod, in between every single defensive series, Wynn McManus is always talking to his teammates. When I asked him what this night means to him before the game, he called it destiny. Rod.
And he knows what it takes, Matthew. Calgary at 18, Argos in 22, play action fake, Arbuckle, he's chucking it deep, down the right, and it is intercepted by Terrell Bonds. So a deep throw, and Bonds was the closest one to it. First year in the CFL, Terrell Bonds, and the first real mistake made by Arbuckle, and it cost them too. Winnipeg football.
Trying to go deep down the sideline, and Arbuckle throws it inside. Just a communication issue with his receiver in Coxie. He thought Coxie was going to make that inside move and stay on the inside of the seam, right on the numbers. Arbuckle threw it to the outside shoulder, and Terrell Bond says thank you very much and gathers that one up.
Bonds hangs on, gets the pick, and Bombers with the ball at their own 40. On the first down, Oliveira, they're trying to get him going. He breaks through. What a run by Brady Oliveira. That's not over yet. Finally tackled by Benji Franklin inside the Toronto 35 and a 35-yard pickup.
Wynton McManus gets caught in the wash. He's the guy you first think is going to make the tackle, but he gets caught in the wash here as Brady Oliveira goes off that left side. Inside of the right of Collaros, but then breaks it to the left, and that's where Wynton McManus got caught in the line of scrimmage. He couldn't get there for the tackle. No Wynton McManus. Runs through it there, and away he goes.
First down for the Bombers this half. A big one it is, down to the Toronto 35, back in number 20's hands. Brady Oliveira, most outstanding player in the CFL in 2024. And someone has mentioned who seems to get better as the stakes get higher. 119 yards in the Grey Cup last year, and this is what he's done in his last 5 playoff and Grey Cup games.
And remember, all games considered, playoffs or regular season, he is
65 on the
just letting Zach Collaros call the play there so everyone can listen in, but he is 21-1 when he gets 100 yards.
Got 3 more. Toronto 32. Bombers down 7, but they're moving well right now. Collaros has time. Looks to the left. Going up to high point it, but no. Mark Milton is in on the coverage on Ontario Wilson, who had a big play earlier in this game in the first half, and
oh boy,
blood in the hand, the throwing hand of Zach Collaros as he heads off the field in the 3rd down, and a field goal situation coming up here for Winnipeg.
Well, that's more than just a little cut too. That's the throwing hand, and he's going to have to get that wrapped up, and what kind of accuracy and control will he have after they get that cleaned up? And that looked like the tip of his finger might be a little loose there.
Sergio Castillo 1 for 1 on the night. Make that 2 for 2, and he still is perfect in Grey Cup play. That's now 8 for 8 over the span of 3 Grey Cup games for Castilla. 3 points on the board in a 17-13 game.
Yeah, they're going to have to go in and probably add some quick stitches to that cut. That was a deep cut on the index finger of his throwing hand. Let's see what happens. Parrish off the edge as he follows through and hits him. But immediately he looked at that finger and might need a couple of stitches. Terry Wilson warming up in the bullpen.
Terry Wilson, in his first year, he has Winnipeg's 1 touchdown in this game in short yardage. Started the year as a 3rd stringer behind Claris and Chris Strembler. Here's a throw to David Ungerer. He's got that. Ungerer still on his feet. He's driving through up near midfield. Gain of 15 yards. Started his career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and part of the Ticats run to the Grey Cup back in 2021, which they lost to Winnipeg.
What a big catch by Ungerer in that Eastern final from Arbuckle when they had to maintain and hold on to the lead for 1 full quarter in Montreal. Big catch for a first down in that one, and gets a first down on that catch here in the championship.
He has 4 catches for 29 yards. And Nick Arbuckle, last possession, threw an interception. Earlier, threw a touchdown pass.
They're running the ball.
There now. Toss inside to Janarian Grant and his old friend Willie Jefferson. Ex-teammate said, "Sorry, my friend, you're not going anywhere." And a little headbutt to say hello afterwards.
Well, sometimes you play the game with your athleticism, and sometimes you play it with your head. You're making decisions, and you can see how Willie Jefferson quickly made the right decision to stay wide and not bite down low after that run fake in the middle. He just stayed wide, saw Janarian Grant coming around, didn't throw him to the turf and create a penalty. He just wrapped him up with those big arms, said, "That's it, you're not going anywhere."
They won 2 Grey Cups together with Winnipeg, but only one gets a ring this time around. 17-13 game, late 3rd quarter, Arbuckle throwing in a 2nd and 19, and that's over the head of Ungerer. So with time running out here in quarter number 3, the Argos and John Haggerty coming on to punt it away.
Yeah, it's sort of back and forth between these two teams. The interception by Arbuckle in the last series, he gets bailed out by his defensive back, Mark Milton.
I should never call the fucking
Whitehead is back for Haggerty. Last play. 3rd quarter, pressure blocked. They got to it. Winnipeg football, flag coming out, but the Bombers do get it after they came charging in to block the punt by John Haggerty. That's Michael Ayers, one of the great special teamers in Winnipeg, and the officials discuss. A flag did come out afterwards.
Completely unblocked. Everyone all week talking about the advantage on special teams being the Toronto Argonaut advantage because of Janarian Grant.
defense. Defense.
But the Bombers have a chance to influence who wins on special teams with this play. That's Michael Ayers off the edge, clean, unblocked, right at the block point as to not run into Haggerty and cause a roughing the kicker.
We have loose ball interference. Winnipeg, number 19. By rule, this is a first down for Toronto at the spot of the foul. It's going to be first down Toronto at the 26-yard line, and it's the end of the quarter.
Oh my goodness, what a break for the Argos. A clean block punt, but because of the loose ball interference, the Argos get the ball back.
Yeah, you got to go and scramble with the ball on the ground, whether it's a fumble or a block like this. You have to scramble to it. You can't obstruct someone else. And watch the hit here. before the ball was recovered.
And that is after it was blocked, and it would have been Winnipeg football. Instead, Toronto gets it back, still leading this Grey Cup through 3 quarters. We show you the stats through 3 quarters. This is after what is looming is one of the most significant moments of this game, when it looked like Winnipeg had blocked a punt they had, but interference on trying to recover it. That penalty gave Toronto, Glenn Sutter, the ball now to start the 4th quarter.
Yeah, when there's a loose ball and you can't obstruct. So you and I are going and trying to get after the football as quickly as we can. I can't block you to get to the ball. If I do, I get a penalty. Possession goes to the other team, and that's exactly what happens. Big penalty in this game, big turnover. We'll see if the Bomber defense can mitigate the damage here, but that push was the obstruction, and if he doesn't and Toronto recovers, it was 3rd down, so Winnipeg still would have had the ball.
That was Kyrie Wilson coming in and Brian Haralamana. So a good break for the Argos here that on a couple of key special teams plays. Winnipeg thought they had one there. Instead, Arbuckle throwing, it is caught and hit right away. Tyrell Ford into Mackay Polk, who a little slow getting up, but 2nd down coming up.
Mackay Polk took some hits like that in the Eastern Final, and I asked Ryan Dinwiddie, his head coach, I said, was he banged up? Was he hurt? Was he okay? He said, no. I went to him and I said, you're from Northern California, man. You're tough. Get back up there and get back in. That was a shot right on the hip by Tyrell Ford, but he's good to go.
2nd and 2. Arbuckle. Knocked down.
Willie.
Intercepted. Willie Jefferson. One of the tallest players in the CFL. Mentioned earlier, he was a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Demonstrating why again. Looked like he had knocked it down, but it never touched the ground. And there is a turnover for Winnipeg.
You know, sometimes he doesn't even try to get to the quarterback because he understands the game so well. He's just going to play right in front of the throwing lane. He does it all the time, and this time, forget about the knockdown. He makes the catch. That's difficult to do. You do that 20 times, you're not going to make one of them. I mean, this is the athlete that is Willie Jefferson.
There's Richie Hall, longtime defensive coordinator and still helping out. And Jordan Younger, loving that. Willie Jefferson came into this Grey Cup with 4 sacks, 2 knockdowns. Well, he's got a couple of sacks, and now he has a pick in this Grey Cup. Terry Wilson is in. Zach Polaris had the cut hand before, and that first pass is brought by Brady Oliveira. Wynn McManus coming in, and Isaac D'Arcangelo.
So still work being done to Zach Collaros on that finger. And Brady Oliveira trying to tell the young quarterback, Terry Wilson, that was on him, but throw was behind him, and got to be careful with Wynn McManus closing that quickly.
So a look at his NCAA stats coming out of New Mexico, Terry Wilson. So 4 for 12 in 2nd down conversions of the Bombers, and Wilson standing in, has time, and no, incomplete.
Flag.
A flag does come out, though. Lots of Argos around. It's like a PI coming up here for Toronto.
Benji Franklin.
Pass interference. Toronto number 23. It's going to be 1st down for Winnipeg. The spot is foul.
Benji Franklin with the jam right here. Tries to cut underneath, and he puts his hands up, almost showing the officials that he's guilty of something. Not a lot of contact, but the receiver did go down.
Trying to get it to Kevin Sklarzius. He's coming in now. 3 to the right. Faking to Oliveira. Lofting it into the end zone. Nearly intercepted by Franklin. He was close to having his 7th pick. 2nd pick of this Grey Cup.
4 in the postseason, shouldn't be 5, and he can't believe it. That's what happens sometimes when one play lingers on to the next play. So you're a young amateur football player right now watching this game. Let it go when something bad happens. Benji Franklin on the last play got the PI call. That was probably lingering in his mind when he went up to pull this one down and didn't secure the catch. It would have been number 5 in the postseason.
Wilson on second down now. Pressure coming, gets rid of it. Looks to the end zone again. Carrick Wheatfall. That close to a Grey Cup touchdown.
See what this flag is.
The flag is out again.
It's right at the line of scrimmage. And by the looks of Nick Dembski, it's going against the Bombers.
Offside, Winnipeg number 89. Penalties decline. It's going to be third down.
Called Kenny Lawler in the offside, so the field goal unit will come on now to see if they can get to within a point now of the Argos. Look for points off a turnover after that interception by Willie Jefferson,
who is out there on the field goal team, by the way.
Castillo, another one, and more flags as well.
Yeah, I think Benji Franklin was offside. He tried to jump this and try and block the field goal.
Toronto number 23. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a field goal.
Mike O'Shea's not taking points off the board.
Nope, they get the 3 right now. Get it to a 17-16 Argo lead.
Got white lightning running through our veins, and we'll die trying to save our family name where the whippoorwills will.
12.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. Zach Collaros has come back on the field. He'd been missing for several minutes. Late in the third quarter, suffered a cut on his throwing hand. So back, see if he can still throw a football here. Argo football now, the 40, and there's Kadeen Carey button heads with Greta Cramdy.
Well, they went in and did some work on that finger, and he's got it taped up. Like when he tried to throw a couple of down on the sideline here. It looked like he was in a little bit of pain, but
still getting some attention. Throwing that right hand and putting a glove on. Meanwhile, it's a second and short here for the Argos, short yardage unit. Coming on, an extra lineman anyway, although Collaros working out a shotgun now on the 2nd and 1. Taking the handoff. No, it is Carey who's got the ball. First down and a whole lot more. Tackled by Nick Taylor inside the Bomber 45. Down to about the 43 and a gain of 18 for Kadeen Carey.
Great tailback play is all about vision and your aiming point. Watch Carey with the vision realize that the left side of his offensive line had opened up a big alley off the backside of the play. That play was designed to go right. Carey.
But they do have 2 others. Deontay McMahon among them, who is in right now. Right near Arbuckle in the 1st and 10 at the 43. Swinging that one out. It's incomplete. Intended for Daniel. 2nd down.
It's the first one that Nick Arbuckle rushed. Had to take a big deep breath here. So Zach Collaros now throwing with the glove on. Looks a little bit more comfortable.
2nd and long coming up here for Arbuckle and the Argos. They are 12 for 22 on 2nd down conversion. One-point lead. Inside, Deontay McMahon. And they use that other running back, McMahon, very effectively. That time for another first down close to the Winnipeg 30.
That play sold by Nick Arbuckle. Arbuckle's going to sell this. He's going to flip his shoulders like he's going to throw it out wide, and then a little underneath shovel pass to Deontay McMahon.
McMahon goes off, and Carey comes back on. It is down to the Winnipeg 31. So in scoring range again with the 1-point lead here in the fourth quarter of the Grey Cup. Under 10 minutes to go. Nick linebacker, in on that tackle for Winnipeg.
Out of the University of Montreal. And we should say congratulations to Wilfrid Laurier and Laval. And Cramdy's a little slow to get up.
Cramdy, who played for the Montreal Caravan, knows all about success collegiately as well.
Vanier Cup next weekend. Laval, Wilfrid Laurier.
There you go, as he gets attention. A full scenic BC place in Vancouver. Just great looks this game as it gets down to crunch time in the fourth quarter. Great looks, thanks in large part to our director, Andy Bayukas, who's working his 10th straight Grey Cup game. Congratulations, Andy, on that milestone. Terrific work yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this game, there are a lot more cameras. A lot more TVs down in that truck. And Andy's the guy that cuts all the shots, puts this action together, those outside shots and scenics. Congratulations, Andy. And there it is. Being brought in by the Mounties to the Grey Cup Championship. Oh, man. Hairs on the back of my neck. Stand up, buddy.
1989. They did that back at Skydome in Toronto. Now the Rogers Center. And Glenn Suter holding for the winning field goal by Dave Ridgway. The Saskatchewan beat Hamilton. You know what it's all about. The trophy is here. 2nd and 7. The Winnipeg 28, Nick Arbuckle. Scrambling. Will he take off? Tries to. Has some yardage down close to the 20.
Well, I think he got it. Or he'll be close.
He looks like he has the first down.
Limited time on the field this year. He's rushed a handful of times, but this is a big one and a big first down. He's going to climb the pocket first with his eyes downfield. Little bounce outside and then up the middle. One-on-one with Tony Jones and makes him miss to get the extra 3 for the first.
What a moment for Nick Arbuckle. Yes, he's thrown a couple of interceptions, but also a touchdown pass. In a game a few weeks ago, you would have thought you were crazy if you thought he had a chance of starting in it. Fate has dealt him this hand with the Winnipeg 21 and a 1st and 10. There's Carey, and he is met by a bunch of Bombers, but somehow he still manages to squeeze out a few more yards and work it down closer to the 15.
Reda Cramdy is out because we just saw him. He has to sit out for at least 3 plays while they take care of him. They brought Brandon Alexander down from the safety position to help there, and that's the guy who steps up and helps Dedrick Mills trying to pull the ball out. Dedrick Nichols. So Brandon Alexander playing down close to the line of scrimmage now, but the Bombers need to stop right here.
They're in range to make it a 4-point game, but they're thinking end zone. What a big second down coming up here for both sides halfway through this fourth quarter.
Nick Taylor, by the way, is the safety.
2nd and 6. Arbuckle with time. Looks. End zone! Touchdown! Dejan Brissett. 17-yard Grey Cup touchdown. Arbuckle has thrown another one. And the Argos increase their lead.
Great read and awesome throw on time for Nick Arbuckle, freezing the safety with his look because there's 2 receivers down the field. And remember, Brandon Alexander had rotated down because of the injury to Reda Cramdy.
Dejan Brissett gets a Grey Cup touchdown. He played in the Grey Cup 2 years ago on special teams. That caps off an 8-play, 70-yard drive. Hiralahu back out for another point after try. And he puts it through. And it's still a 1-score game, but it's 8 points now. The Argos, after that touchdown pass by Arbuckle, lead the Grey Cup 24-16.
Injury changes the lineup. That's Brandon Alexander down low, and Nick Taylor is playing the safety. Nick Taylor is not normally a safety, but because of the injury to Cramdy, he's back there and he freezes on the look from Nick Arbuckle on the backside. Arbuckle freezes him by staring him down. He's not normally playing that position. He's a little late to break to that seam route, and Brissett's in the end zone.
Dinwiddie. Fired up about that, what Nick Arbuckle has been able to do with this offense as they increase the lead to 8 points. The touchdown pass to Dejan Brissett. It's a Winnipeg ball. Lucky Whitehead at the 20. Coverage is good as he gets up to the 26 on that kick return. Brissett caught his first CFL pass against Winnipeg, and the guy that threw it to him back in 2021 was Nick Arbuckle in his first time with the Argos before he was traded away to Edmonton. And they hook up again on a much bigger stage.
First round draft pick, high school in Mississauga. Big touchdown, and what a game so far for Nick Arbuckle. But we're not done yet. You know that over 60% of the games this year were decided in the final 3 minutes.
Well, these two know all about it. It was the Argos that trailed in the fourth quarter, ended up coming back and winning that game. Of course, Montreal did it to Winnipeg last year. This time, it's the Bombers trailing in the fourth quarter, 24-16. 6 of the last 8 Grey Cup winners had trailed in the fourth to come back and win.
Now let's see how accurate Zach Collaros can be with that finger taped up. Matt Dunnigan will tell you that finger is important in the throwing motion, throwing action for your accuracy. Putting the ball right where you want to put it. That finger is important in that regard.
Still an injured Argo player on the field after that kickoff.
And from the sideline, we understand that Zach Collaros, as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber, has never thrown a pass with a glove on. Some quarterbacks do. Some quarterbacks like throwing with gloves.
It's a guy in one of our panels.
Yeah.
We had this discussion yesterday. Bo Levi Mitchell and likes wearing the gloves.
Absolutely, but looks like it's a receiver's glove, pass catcher's glove, and he's going to give it a shot with 7 minutes to go. Needs a drive here.
Benji Franklin, the injured Argo on special teams, had an interception earlier in this Grey Cup.
Almost a second.
Almost a second one, you're right. Down in the end zone. Which ultimately led to a field goal.
They're going to bump Mark Milton out to the corner. And they've got Robert Priester playing in at halfback in Milton's spot.
Hey, let it roll, let it roll, let it roll. Priester just back from the injured list for this Grey Cup game. The Winnipeg 27, Collaros. The time. Throwing. Oh, intercepted. Deshaun Amos has it. And a big return, too, for Amos. Finally forced out all the way down to the Winnipeg 15. The pass intended for Ontario Wilson, a bit short. Amos came back and took it a long way back to put the Argos in scoring position again.
Corner route comes from the inside receiver in Wilson, and he has him open with Nick Dembski running the coverage off, but the accuracy wasn't quite there with the glove on for Zach Collaros. He thought he had enough on it, but again, hasn't thrown a pass in a game as the Bombers starter with a glove on his hand. It's a little underthrown, and Amos takes it the other way.
Third time the Bombers, have turned the ball over. And another costly one for Winnipeg. Toronto setting up just outside the 15, 16-yard line. A 1st and 10, and Dietrich Nichols and Peter Nicastro getting into it with flags coming out.
Well, what you want in this situation is offsetting. Offsetting and a warning for the final 6:22 from the officials.
Deshaun Amos, another one of those ex-Stampeders now in these Argos, like Kadeem Carey, Royce Metier, Tunde Adeleke, Tavares Daniels, quite a few of them. He used to be in Calgary. Officials still huddled up, sorting out this one. Little skirmish at the line of scrimmage before the snap of the ball.
The Bombers defensively right now, right, have got to try and strip the ball. I mean, you got to believe on first down that Ryan Dinwiddie, although with the way Nick Arbuckle is playing, Ryan Dinwiddie might, who's also calling the plays as the head coach and OC, might decide to just let him go out and throw the football on first down. To me, it would be Kadeem Carey.
Winnipeg called a timeout. However, we have a misconduct penalty against Winnipeg number 1. We'll go past the distance. It's going to be first down for Toronto.
So no offsetting. They just saw the one, and that's Dedrick Nichols. And this is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers that have been the least penalized team in the CFL for the last 3 years.
So they move it up half the distance. Looks like about a 1st and 2. And this is what happened that led to the penalty with Nichols coming in.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Dedrick Nichols would do that. That's an automatic penalty. Even if he thought someone had moved on the Argo offense.
Well, at the very least, looming is a 2-score game. So close to field goal range, but a great opportunity here now. 5th trip to the red zone. They've got a couple of touchdowns. Looking for another here, a 1st and goal. Carey. 2nd down.
Michael Griffin made a nice play right in the hole to get this opportunity for his defense. Get a stop here, mitigate the damage, because there's still plenty of time. We've seen 3 possessions, 3 scores in the final 3 minutes, let alone 6.
Just moments ago, the Argos found the end zone when Arbuckle hit Dejan Brissett. Jordan Younger, big challenge for his defense now.
Does he send full pressure?
Let's see here on a 2nd and goal at the 7. Arbuckle quickly knocked down at the line of scrimmage again. Winnipeg's been good at that. Before it was Willie Jefferson, but another one knocked away at the line and forcing Lirimirolau to come in.
Taiwan Garbutt off the edge, times his jump. That can get you in trouble as a defender, because if that's a pump fake, he's in trouble. He's in the air and loses contain, but he timed it out right, made the right decision, gets the knockdown, and holds the Argos to a field goal attempt.
Kairolau 3 for 3 on the night. Longest of 45, this one. Inside the 15. 4 for 4. 3 big points. 2-possession game with the Argos up 11.
Now time is the issue for Zach Collaros. Let's take a look at how he's got that glove on. There's the throw. Parrish follows through and looks right at his finger immediately. And it was more than a cut. That finger was wobbly off the edge. He went into the training room, got some work done, tried to throw without the glove, and it didn't happen. You saw the pain in his face. He put the glove on and then was a little under that throw, a little short on that one. That was intercepted.
Big return by Amos as well to set up a field goal. The Argos with 13 points off turnovers in a 27-16 game. And there's a momentary distraction that our cameras will not show you for understandable reasons. If you're wondering why we have a wait.
Timer, please reset the game clock to 5:11. Bruce, please reset the clock to 5:11, please.
Point lead. 2-possession game. Bombers in a hole with 5:11 left in the 4th quarter. Kenny Lawler with 1 catch. in this Grey Cup. Four-man rush. Collaros to the left, and that is caught. Oliveira takes it up near a first down, near the 50.
This game for the Bombers is really mirroring their regular season. They started out 0-4. Brady Oliveira wasn't completely healthy. They lost two of their top targets in Kenny Lawler and Dalton Schoen. Dalton Schoen has not returned this season. And then they had to maintain that composure, stay with the process, as they said all week, and took a run to get here to the Grey Cup. Now they've got to use this final 4:56 to get back in this game with a score here.
Just their third first down of this half. Collaros throwing again on a low one to Ontario Wilson, and no catch.
Meanwhile, the Argos, huge underdogs. There's the CEO of MLSE, Keith Pelly.
And a former president of the Toronto Argonauts back from 2003 to through the Grey Cup 07, and former TSN president Phil King there as well. To his left, to the right of your screen, but he's always loved the CFL. He used to produce it for us on TSN. Keith became the president.
Keith looks a little nervous up there. He's
his team's up 11 right now. 4.5 minutes to go. Flag comes out. Collaros throwing it is caught. It would be enough for a first down, and just the second catch of the Grey Cup for Kenny Lawler.
I think Nick Dembski was offside. Not sure there was any early movement from the interior of that D line.
Offside. Winnipeg, number 10. The 5-yard penalty will replay second down.
Negating that first down pass as well, as time is of the essence now for the Bombers.
Back to your waggle. That's the waggle to the line of scrimmage. You're allowed to get a full run, but you can see before the snap, it's a good 2 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 15. Collaros flushed out. Throws on the move. And coming back to the ball there is Kevin Clarcius.
That's a great catch. Gives him a chance.
The catch. It does indeed. It'll be a third and still a couple of yards shy.
Down 2 scores. Realistic chance. A lot of plays in the playbook that can get you 3 or 4. Not many that can get you 14.
So they get 12, third and 3. And 3.5 minutes. They got to go for it. Down 11. Big moment in this Grey Cup for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Pressure coming. Collaros quickly get rid of it. It's picked off. Intercepted. Robert Priester. And he's taking it back all the way. Touchdown Toronto. And a play that might have just about done it for the Argonauts. High fives all around. As far as the Argos are concerned, as Robert Priester, injured in recent weeks, came back into this game and now has a memory in a Grey Cup.
Came back in recent weeks from that injury, Rob, but is a veteran player that got the starts early before he was hurt, and he just jumped the look from Zach Collaros and took it to the house.
A 49-yard interception for a touchdown, and I'm sure a sick feeling on the Winnipeg bench now as they fall further behind, heading down towards a 3-minute warning. Liramaina Alahu out to make it a 34-16 game. Looking for their 19th Grey Cup win ever. Collaros is picked by Priester, who takes it home.
Here's the pick by Robert Priester. There he is in the spotlight, and he's the former Blue Bomber from back in 2018, 3 years with the Argos, and Nick Dembski on that curl route just doesn't push him off. He doesn't hit it with enough speed to get him to turn and respect that he may go deep. He hit that curl, trying to time it up on third down, wanted to open up a target quickly for Zach Collaros, but Robert Priester, the veteran, takes it to the house.
And once again, this postseason, the defense gets a touchdown. It happened twice against Ottawa. It happened again in Montreal, and it's happened in this Grey Cup game. Robert Priester, you mentioned his Bomber time, and that's where his CFL career started. 2 games back in 2018 with Winnipeg.
I can't do it without him, man.
Nice catch, too, to the old step-around drill. And I understand what Dembski was trying to do. He was trying to present a target as quickly as he could because it was third down, and he didn't want his quarterback to get sacked. So get out there, try to turn on the curl, but Priester wasn't budging. Jumped it, and the Argos are that much closer to that baby right there.
Oh, they can picture it now, I'm sure, with the Grey Cup making its appearance. A couple minutes to go. Bombers down 18. Brady Oliveira up near midfield. They first started giving away a Grey Cup in 1909. What a legacy for this storied trophy in the annals of Canadian sport. And Robert Priester, the latest to be a huge factor in this. And Liramai Ralahu, big field goal in the first half. There's another interception. Wynton McManus has it. McManus, is he going to take it all the way? Back-to-back pick sixes? No! Just tripped up inside the 5. McManus was close to having one, too. This Argo defense is just taking over.
Jake Serezna, who had an outstanding season, started his CFL career in Edmonton. He's going to be the reason that Collaros throws another interception here. Number 94 steps up. He's got a one-on-one. In fact, he's double-teamed initially. He gets his hand there and tips the ball as Collaros is trying to release it right into the hands of Wynton McManus, who, I'm going to say this about Wynton McManus. He's earned that one.
Sure has.
He's earned that one over the playoffs in this run this season.
Well, he had an interception in the semifinal against Ottawa. He dished it off to Tavares McFadden, who took it in for a touchdown, and he gets a pick there and nearly a touchdown. Serezna, one of the key additions by trade with Edmonton in the offseason. What a difference he's made up front. First and goal. We didn't get the touchdown, but the Argos are close to another. 3-2-1 touchdown. Kadeem Carey has a Grey Cup touchdown.
And Kadeem Carey's going to get a Grey Cup ring as the guy, the starting tailback in Toronto.
He saw his new teammates hoist the Grey Cup with Calgary back in 2018. But he finds the end zone, and the Argos are really pouring it on now.
And he's chipped in. It's been a quiet 80 yards for Kadeem Carey to help in providing some balance in this offense for Nick Arbuckle. But what a journey for Arbuckle. And to be thrust into this position, the stage was never too big for him from the very first snap to that one right there.
Iralahu again. That leg seems just fine. 41-16. And a rout now. The previous 2 Grey Cups that were heartbreakers for Winnipeg were down to the final plays. And this one has emerged differently, thanks in large part to the defense of the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, yeah, and complimentary football. I mean, we thought that for the, most people thought that for the Argos to pull off the upset with the heavily favored Winnipeg Blue Bombers coming into this, they'd have to play great on defense, maybe get a turnover or 2, and win the special teams battle. Well, the special teams will call a push, but they certainly won when their defense was on the field.
And turnovers looming large. Mentioning it before, 6-3 in favor of 9-3 in favor of Toronto in the regular season, and it's 5-2 in favor of the Argos. They're a +3 in the turnover department in this game. And, oh yes, compliments too for the Argo offense, but 27 points off turnovers. And that has really helped open this game up. Against Mike O'Shea, a Hall of Fame linebacker, spent much of his CFL playing career with the Argos, won championships there, but not feeling good about things now with Lucky Whitehead on the return and up across the 35. And your point about the Argos and the complementary game, certainly last week too, when they had touchdown and special teams, defense, and of course offense.
And a big part of this storyline, of course, is the injury to Zach Collaros and that throwing hand. It's a one-possession game at that point. Blood starts gushing out. He had to go in and get that sewn up and tried to throw with a glove. And on the very first deep throw with that glove on, one he's never used before, Deshaun Amos comes up with an interception. Big return. That turned into a field goal in a two-possession game. And then another interception. Did the deal.
And we're down to barely 2 minutes, and the ball comes out. They're calling it an incomplete pass. Looked like it would have been a catch, but hard hit right afterwards, and that's coughed up. It's Kenny Lawler.
When these two teams now have played 3 times in 2024, the Bombers scored 14 points in the first one, 11 in the second one, and now just 16 in the Grey Cup. This defense has got this Bomber offense figured out.
Do they ever? 4-man rush. And coming across to take it is Ontario Wilson. And he gets up to around the Winnipeg 50, but clock's ticking, under 2 minutes to go in this Grey Cup. And the Argos are in charge.
Yeah, they'll just play off now for the final 2 minutes. DBs are gonna loosen up. Wynton McManus will line up deeper.
Kevin Sklarczyk is hit by Wynton McManus.
Doesn't mean he won't close quickly. No. It just means he'll line up deeper. You know, I know a lot of people have talked about the dynasty and the possibility with the win here that would cement the dynasty. And I would say, you know, if you would have come to me as a rookie in the CFL and said, hey, I got a deal for you. You can go to 5 straight Grey Cups. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. You may only win a couple. I'd say I'd take that every time. And this Bomber football team can be very proud of 5 straight appearances, 2 wins. I know it's been 3 straight years.
But the fact is they won the West 5 years in a row.
Exactly. And in today's day and age, with 1-year contracts, with quick turnarounds and free agency, there'll be well over 100 players.
Challenging the ruling on the last play. They believe there should have been pass interference against Toronto. The play will be reviewed.
I'll take a look at the play. Is Michael O'Shea just trying desperately to create something? But by February, there'll be well over 100 free agents. Change is part of the game, and the Bombers went through it this year. And I'll tell you what, they can be real proud of getting to 5 straight. Let's see if they call that pass interference.
So Mike O'Shea with a late challenge. And here's the decision of the command center.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field is overturned. We have pass interference, Toronto number 1. It's going to be first down Winnipeg at the 47-yard line.
Calling Tunde Adeleke, a very experienced Grey Cup player, too, with Calgary in 17 and 18, later with Hamilton in 19 and again in 21. Losing to Winnipeg those years, and the bucket comes out for Ryan Dinwiddie. As play goes on, Collaros hitting Wheatfall, and McManus in pursuit there with Milton. But the celebration already started at the Argo sideline. Ryan Dinwiddie, 4 years as a head coach in Toronto. 3 first-place finishes, a second-place one this year, but about to celebrate his 2nd Grey Cup title as a head coach. Nick Dembski.
One of the keys to this game defensively has been the play of McManus, who is the leader of that defense and had a good talk with Dinwiddie, who's getting that double shot of Gatorade.
He had to hear about his Grey Cup start as a quarterback all over again this week because of the storyline with Arbuckle, and I'm sure he wasn't too happy having to talk about that again. But
well, he was very careful though to make sure we all knew it's completely different story and a different quarterback. You know, a guy who has lots of experience, who had 25 starts, who's been on a lot of different teams and a lot of different systems, and as we talked about off the top, the two of them, Dinwiddie and Arbuckle, great trust between the two.
It has paid off today, hasn't it? That one, Kenny Lawler gets it, tries to get up again before he's touched, but 1:12 on the clock now until the Argos can celebrate and hoist the trophy.
One thing I can tell from this game, and one of the keys to this win, is going to be 48. He did his homework on Dembski because he was the intended target with all those plays that Winston made.
Dembski again. By the way, McManus helped out with this 164 yards in interception returns. That's a Grey Cup record, and all that, most of it anyway, happening in the second half.
But with those knockdowns on key second down conversions, that's sort of been bread and butter for the Bombers offensively. They run with Brady Oliveira. They run those little play actions with Oliveira once he's established, and then throw it to Dembski in those intermediate zones, those quick curls, pushes to the flat, things like that. Winton McManus had a game plan for that in this game tonight. He knocked 3 down in the first 3 quarters and then had the interception late here in the fourth when Collaros' arm got hit.
And he is the injured player right now, Winton McManus, but broken-hearted Bomber fans to be sure as the celebration continues in the Argos sideline now. That's Cameron Dukes with an embrace for Arbuckle. Dukes until recent weeks had been the number 2 quarterback. And we had wondered when Chad Kelly was hurt last week who would get the start, and goes to the veteran Arbuckle.
The second longest pick six in Grey Cup history belongs to number 19, Robert Priester, the Toronto Argonauts, 61-yarder that sealed the deal.
And I look at the name, a legend with the Argos, a quarterback, Joe Kroll, obviously playing some defense too. And Kroll, a Hall of Famer, and the Argos looming large in that department, and Priester joins the club with that pick six. Second and inches, Collaros throwing into the end zone, and no for Dembski. Just had the one catch earlier in this Grey Cup game, and a flag does come out. Under a minute to go.
Talked to a lot of the Bomber veterans, Zach Collaros, Willie Jefferson, Nick Dembski.
Pass interference, Toronto number 27. The foul occurred in goal. It's going to be first down Winnipeg at the 1-yard line.
And, you know, thought about you have to ask the question, even though their minds aren't there, but you ask the question, how much longer do you think you want to play? To a man, every veteran, the core group said, no, we're coming back.
Yeah, especially with the Grey Cup in Winnipeg.
Absolutely.
They all want to be back. That man, too, Stanley Bryant.
Yes.
Has seen both sides. 1 year, 10 years ago with Calgary against Collaros and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Trying to find the end zone. There they do. A touchdown for Winnipeg. Brady Oliveira with another Grey Cup touchdown. But academic at this point. Another minute to go.
We should take a second too while they're attending to one of the Argos. The Bomber fans this year, outstanding.
Sellouts.
Absolutely outstanding. 5 sellouts to end the season. Ton of them traveled to Vancouver, and we're here cheering on their team. Just outstanding to be in that stadium in Winnipeg. for any one of the home games this year with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Fans were fantastic.
A lot of greatness to celebrate, including of that man, but the one thing about Grey Cup heartache, Bomber fans have had a lot of it because their team has gotten back so often, 5 straight, and this.
Again, that's a successful story.
It is,
I
but
know
they just don't feel it right now.
I know that. I know. It's and they won't. They won't. I mean, if your last game is a loss, no matter where you are in the standings, you have a terrible 6 months of trying to let it go and get rid of it. That won't happen for the Argos.
Well,
they're going to enjoy it.
By the way, about to go 8-0 in Grey Cups against Winnipeg.
Wow.
And also about to go 8-0 in their last Grey Cup starts. The last time they lost at a Grey Cup was on this field in 1987. Oliveira. And that's for 2. Put a couple more on and make it a 17-point game, though. 41-24, 47 seconds to go.
Well, I'm not sure if there's one worse than the other when you don't win a football game, but if you go back and look at the last 2 losses, in 22, it was the block by Robbie Smith. They make that field goal, they win. In 23 last year, last play of the game, touchdown by the Montreal Alouettes and a great drive. Full credit to Cody Fajardo and that team that year, but those are heartbreaking right down to the final play. This one different journey, and it'll hurt just as much for that team, I know.
Talked to Zach Collaros earlier this week and confirmed what I'd heard before, that losing a championship hurts more than winning it feels good. And that's the reality facing the Bombers again. But the Argos, on the other hand, a team that went 16. There's Larry Tannenbaum in the middle. Long time with MLSE and saw the Argos win a championship 2017 and again 2 years ago. They set up for the onside kick. High one by Castillo. And coming down and touched. And Brissett. It looks like Dejan Brissett has it.
Weird how people sort of gravitate to that word dynasty, because it is so rare and so difficult now in all sports with free agency, but we can almost start the conversation when it comes to the Argos.
Well, this is 2 and 3 years, and they also won in 2017, so they've had a good run, and with very different teams as well.
You know, I'm not ready to say it yet, but 2 and 3 years, you get one more in 25, and that discussion is on the table.
And both with the backup quarterback on the field. Cameron Duke's in now, but it was Chad Kelly coming off the bench 2 years ago and helped with that Argo victory. And with Kelly injured last week and out, Nick Arbuckle, what a story.
Yep.
He said he wasn't going to renew his work permit to stay in Canada. There's Pinball Clements, of course, who has won at every level with the Argos, from player to coach, general manager, president, victory, formation. They're letting Dukes in to finish this off what Arbuckle started. What a performance all round. And for him, though, he thought he was done. Been a backup quarterback much of his life. Only had one start as a quarterback in high school before eventually starring at Georgia State. But now he's a Grey Cup champion. Cameron Dukes. Final play. Well, they lost their #1 quarterback, but the Argos still found a way. For the second time in 3 years, Toronto is the Grey Cup champion. Another heartbreak for Mike O'Shea. In this run of 5, they won the first 2 over Hamilton, but they lost to the Argos and Montreal and to Nick Arbuckle and the Toronto Argonauts again. But on this winner's side, what a story for that man. And Ryan Dinwiddie, too. Second championship as a head coach. With some congratulations going on now in the field and the celebration for Toronto. And what a performance by that defense, especially in the second half.
You know, no question. And when you think about that defense, Arbuckle threw a couple interceptions when the game was a one-possession game, and their defense came on the field, didn't allow the Bombers to get any big-time momentum with majors off of those turnovers. I think they gave up 1 field goal. But right now it's family time.
Well, let's head down to Matthew Shinetti with the winning QB.
You know, Nick, it doesn't shock me that the first person you go to grab is your daughter, Aaliyah. You saw her grow up during COVID. She was born, and your family couldn't make it all the way there. Your wife's IKEA is there. Araya's with you here now, too.
Yeah.
How important has this moment been to share it now with your family, knowing how many sacrifices they've made for you?
I mean, I wouldn't even be playing football right now if it wasn't for them, my wife. The sacrifices, like you said, they've made for me to just keep going and keep believing, keep trying. Everything's in perspective. I mean, they didn't know all this was coming, neither did I, but we just kept believing.
There's so many things that so many people didn't see that you achieved, that you worked through. You carry a photo of your mother that says, "I will make you proud." You've made her proud, I imagine, as a father, but what kept pushing you, knowing the tragedy that you dealt with, knowing the adversity you dealt with both in your personal life and on the field?
Yeah, you know, it's the same thing I told the players today. You know, no moment in these 3 hours that we're about to face is greater or more challenging than all the things we overcame to get here. And that goes with my whole career, my playing career. For all of us, we each have a story, and we each fought through a lot of adversity to get here, a lot of challenges, a lot of doubts in ourselves from other people, but we all had each other. We all had our families and everybody that supports us, that we could do it. We believed in each other, we believed in ourselves, and we took care of it.
You're holding the 2 most important things in your life. Can you believe it? Can you believe this?
Not really. But I mean, I'm just so happy for the guys, you know. This is what I play for. I play for the guys to have these moments, and it's just so special. I can't wait to celebrate with everybody.
Congratulations, Nick Arbuckle. You are a Grey Cup champion.
Thank you.
Now to Claire Hanna with Dejan Brissett.
Dejan, you mostly played on special teams in 2022 when you won the Grey Cup. How does it feel to win once again, but this time play a huge role as a receiver?
It feels great, man. A lot of work went into this. You know, a lot of ups and downs, but had to stay focused and put the work in, and I'm glad that it paid off.
When you scored that touchdown in the 3rd quarter from Nick Arbuckle, how did you feel that shifted the game?
It felt great. We ran that play so many times. We ran it in the East Final. We ran it in practice, and I kind of messed it up, so we had the corrections, did it the right way when it mattered the most.
Now, I just saw you celebrating with your brother O'Shea, who won an NBA title last year.
Yeah.
You add another trophy to the household. What has he done to help you on this journey?
And he inspires me more than he knows, man. I admire the work he puts in, and it's you know, it's helped me get to where I'm at now. So shouts out to this guy, man. We did it for the family. We did it for the family.
We see that. Ignite right here on the shirt. But shout out to the Argos, shout out to number 18, shout out to everyone here that did it. Another ring coming back to Toronto, baby. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Congratulations, you guys. Enjoy this moment.
Can I say one more thing? My brother, we did it for you, man. Unfortunately, he went out, but we got the dub for him, man. We did this for you. We got you in our hearts, baby. Heal up. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's head over to Matthew Shinetti, who's with Winton McManus.
You just said you were sick because you didn't score, but you called this to me earlier in the week. You said this was destiny. When did you start to feel that?
From the first kickoff of the game, from the moments we were in the locker room, you could just feel it with this team, man. You could just feel how confident we were. You could just feel how focused and you know, determined everybody was to get the job done.
How desperate were you for this? I talked to Enoch Muamba earlier this week. He said you needed a game like this in your career. Alex Singleton told me earlier in this week that the Argos are only here because of you. You now share that level with them, leading your team to a Grey Cup.
It's surreal. It's a surreal feeling. I got to give all the credit to my teammates, man, my defense. I'm going to tell you, my coaches, like everybody everybody's just so amazing. It's easy to go out and be yourself and play ball with the kind of teammates that I have. They're so supportive. They're so locked in, man. It just makes my job easy.
He is him.
That's my linebacker, man, my wheel. He's a rookie, and he plays his ass off day in and day out, man, so I'm just thankful.
You're a Grey Cup champion, Witten. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm trying to find my family right now. I don't know where they are.
Go find them. Now over to Claire Hannah with Kadeem Carey.
I don't know if I've ever seen such a big smile on your face, Kadeem. Coming into this game, you knew you were the underdogs. What did it take to win the Grey Cup?
A team effort, as you can see. We knew we were that team. We knew we were the best team in this league. We just had to go out here and show it.
When you played with Calgary, you won a Grey Cup, but you were on the practice roster, and you said the only reason you wanted to come back and keep playing was to win it. So what does this moment mean?
I mean, this means everything. You see, I got the family here to enjoy this. Man, I just want to cry. But all this emotion is just going down in me right now. This is something special that I'm always going to remember.
Your family means so much to you, and I know your daughter made you the necklace you're wearing today. You stayed healthy all 18 games. What does your family mean to you, and how good luck of a charm is that necklace?
Hey, I'm wearing it next year, and we're going to have to make another one, Kion Kaysen, and we're going to be geeked up with a whole bunch of healthy opportunity. But I'm just blessed. I'm happy. As you can see, I'm excited, lost for words right now. Just about to go play with this family.
What can you say about your quarterback, Nick Arbuckle? In the offseason, he was looking for coaching jobs. He leads you guys to this Grey Cup.
That's my man. All I can say, that's my buddy. I love him. We went to war. We had his back. We knew he was going to go out there and, you know, put on a game. We had ups and downs, but he led us. And I had his back the whole way, and we pulled off this championship. I can't wait to go enjoy it with him.
Kadeem, congratulations to you and your family.
Hey, thank you, baby.
All right, Matthew standing by with Flo.
Well, Flo, your family just joined us.
Yep.
How much did you want this? I talked to you all season. You were on that 2018 Calgary Stampeders team. You and Witten and Tavares Daniels and Nick Arbuckle.
And Tunde and Amos and Mitch.
How fitting is it that you all now play such a key role in a 19th championship for the Argos?
I mean, that time was like a breeding ground. We were all just learning the culture, learning what it meant to win. And I felt like even when RD told me to like come to Toronto, it was like a continuation of the things that we did there. So I knew I was going to be a part of winning football. And even though last year we didn't go how we wanted to, we played winning football. And I think it's just a continuation of that, you know. So I'm so grateful. I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I thank my family. My friends are coming down right now too. You got my mom, you got my brother, you got my dad, and it's amazing.
Good job. Good job.
Champion.
Good job.
All game I saw this on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Don't ride the wave.
We are the wave.
Be the wave.
We are the wave.
When did that become the thing that propelled this team to this moment?
I mean, we had the first 12 games of the season we were in a rough spot, and we needed to win some games, even to just make the playoffs. And we just started taking it day by day. Never got to get too high, never get too low, and that's what we preach. That's what we've been preaching, and then it kind of got coined that way after a Witten speech. You know, Witten has his legendary speeches, and that's what we just.
What did he say in his speech?
He was just talking about how we do it over and 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 over. So we never get too high with the wins, and we never get too low with the losses, even from play to play. Just trying to go 1-0 each play, 1-0 each game, and that's how we took it today. Just go 1-0, and we went 1-0 and 111th Grey Cup champion.
You and the whole Aruma Lade family. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Now to Claire Hanna with Deshaun Amos.
Deshaun, your defense made things so uncomfortable all game for the Bombers, and then you get that pick six. Walk me through what happened on that play.
Just first and foremost, want to give all honor, praise, and glory to my God, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Wouldn't be here without him. But I always say it, man. I've been saying it all year. Just making a play for my defense. Playing the defense, trusting the guys next to me, seeing the ball in the air and going and getting it. That's it.
So you took that ball to somebody in the crowd. Who did you bring it to?
I gave it to my girlfriend, actually. My mom is here, and then my mother-in-law is here as well, but my mom already has one, so I figured I'd spread the love.
How does it feel to win this Grey Cup when you guys were the underdogs and everybody favorited Winnipeg coming in?
The underdog thing was really something outside of our locker room, right? Within that locker room, we always knew that we had enough in that locker room to win this game. So the underdog thing, it didn't really faze us too much. So we just came out and played our game. We knew it was going to be about us.
Congratulations on being a Grey Cup champion.
Thank you.
Welcome to the 2024 Grey Cup Awards and Trophy presentation. To present the awards for Most Outstanding Player and Most Outstanding Canadian, here's James Duffy.
Thank you. And first of all, before we get started, thank you to the City of Vancouver for another fantastic Grey Cup week. You guys were fantastic hosts. Let's not wait another decade to come back here again. The most valuable player of the 2024 Grey Cup, from the Toronto Argonauts, Nick Arbuckle. That's a pretty cool takeaway from the Grey Cup. Nick, I know you have your hands full here with your two beautiful daughters. This is storybook stuff. 6 months ago, you were considering giving up the game, moving back home to the States, and now you're a Grey Cup champion and the MVP of the Grey Cup. What does this moment mean to you?
I mean, God is just so incredible in our lives, and without my family's faith and my wife's belief in me and her sacrifices that she's made and my kids have made. I mean, this little one's 4 years old, and I think she's lived in 7 houses, and like all over the country, in the U.S., Canada, from the west to the east. We never thought that all this would come. I mean, like you said, I was a few weeks away from calling it quits when I got this opportunity, and it's unbelievable.
You're a journeyman. You just said it. Does this make the entire journey worth it?
I mean, it makes me appreciate the journey so much, because all the things I went through and the things I learned and the tough times, the good times, the players and coaches that I was blessed to be with at each stop along the way, all taught me so much and prepared me for this moment and for this team to be the best person, player, teammate, leader, dad, husband that I could possibly be. And you know, it's all in his timing. I couldn't have done this any other time before in my life.
Go enjoy this with your teammates and your beautiful family.
Thank you.
Nick Arbuckle.
Congratulations. Go with Daddy.
The most outstanding Canadian of the Grey Cup, from the Argos, Dejan Brissett. Congratulations, my friend. It's been a heck of a long trip. from Loyola Catholic Secondary in Mississauga to the game-winning touchdown and the most outstanding Canadian in the Grey Cup. What's this moment mean to you?
It means everything. I'm super happy my family's in the stands. There goes my mom right there, my dad, my brother, my sister, my friends. It's everything. We did this for Toronto.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers won 9 of their last 12 games to end the season. All 3 losses came to the Toronto Argonauts. Why were you able to do what nobody else in the CFL could do to the Bombers?
The guys in the locker room. RD talks about it every single week. We're the only ones who matter. We believe in one another. We do it for each other. Offense, defense, special teams, we're all one unit, and we played like that tonight.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And now, to present the Grey Cup for his final time as Commissioner of the CFL, Mr. Randy Ambrosie.
Well, good evening, everyone, and let me start by congratulating Amar Doman, Dwayne Vanneau, the City of Vancouver, and the province of British Columbia for hosting one of the greatest Grey Cups of all time. This Grey Cup is great for the game of football in Canada. So to Amar, thank you very much. And now it is my honor and privilege on behalf of the CFL's Board of Governors to award the 2024 Grey Cup 111 to the Grey Cup champions, Toronto Argonauts, and to Mr. Larry Tannenbaum, the chairman of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. So Larry, if you'll let me, I'll pass the mic over here and get you the trophy. Oh, no, okay, hang on. Guys, I'm going to pass you that if you could.
Absolutely.
And take that.
There you go, sir.
Hoisting up the Grey Cup as they pass it around and celebrate this championship. Their second in 3 years, and many new faces to this club as well, but they did find a way to get it done, Glenn. And one thing that you just know about the Grey Cup, you can expect the unexpected, and who would have thought that Nick Arbuckle coming in, you know, at the last second really, decided last week that he'll start in this game after thinking he was done, ending up playing in the Grey Cup and winning MVP.
A veteran quarterback who threw for, in this game, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, completed 70% of his passes. He played very well in this football game considering the circumstances. But the game was won by the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. They took control of this game. 27 of the Argo points came off turnovers created by that defense. And the Bombers got a couple, but they were only able offensively to put 6 points on the board off those turnovers. So, you know, that old cliche, this defense wins championships. Certainly there's proof right here that they do.
Well, their defense in all 3 postseason games scored at least 1 touchdown. Had a couple against the Ottawa Red Blacks. Had a big pick 6 from Benji Franklin last week in the East Final, and an interception for a touchdown by Robert Priester as well. But yeah, that was a difference. Turnovers were a difference as well in the regular season between these two. The Argos won in that category, and they won again this time. Winnipeg turning it over 5 times compared to Toronto's 2.
And by the way, the 24 points scored in the 4th quarter by Toronto tonight ties a Grey Cup record.
It really opened up in the second half. In that fourth quarter, it was close, just a one-point game at halftime, with Winnipeg leading it by 1, and that was typical of the way these two teams had played, as mentioned in the regular season. But this is the Argos moment now, and this comes for those who remember. They finished 16-2 last year. They were the favorite to win the Grey Cup last year. And they got knocked off decisively by the Alouettes in the East Final. A lot of them remember the pain of that. As the Bombers go through their own pain, there are many others here motivated to get back and win that championship they thought they should have had a shot at last year. Big moment again for Ryan Dinwiddie, Grey Cup champion, standing by with James Duthie.
Coach, they wanted you up there on that stage, but staying away and letting your players enjoy this one. Only 4 years as head coach of this team and 2 Grey Cups. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot, and like you said, it means a lot more for my players. Fought through adversity all year. Right? They trusted the process. A lot of these guys were free agents that came and joined our football club that trusted in the process and trusted in me. And, made us a better football club. So, I can't be more happy with my players. What a year. I'm just kind of in shock right now, and I'm exhausted. I haven't slept all week. I'm so tired. I want to go to sleep.
I don't think you'll be sleeping for a couple of days either. As soon as Chad Kelly got hurt, the Bombers became automatic big favorites in this game. What made you believe in Nick Arbuckle when apparently others did not?
I've been around Nick, so obviously I trust him. He can process it all, right? There's times where I give aggressive play calls for Nick, and I can trust maybe he's not there, find a check down or change protections, those things. He's a smart football player and great leader, and it's just unfortunate some other places didn't give him a real good opportunity. I'm so happy for him to take this Grey Cup and run with it.
Was that big difference in the fact they were favorites? You guys used that this week.
Well, yeah, we didn't really talk about the favorites, but I would just say, I feel like we're the better team, and those guys believe in it as well. And you should have seen our laser focus going in the week and just how these guys were communicating, and I can see it. I see it about 5 weeks, and I see us taking that next step. But, last night was probably the coolest night before meeting I've ever been a part of.
Coach, I know you're exhausted now. I can't wait to see it about 4 or 5 days because you're going to be really tired. Go enjoy this, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Canada.
The head coach, Ryan Dinwiddie. The celebration started there while the game was still going on. Nice, refreshing shower before the celebration with his second Grey Cup in 3 years. We want to thank our viewers on CTV for watching our coverage of Grey Cup 111. For Grey Cup extended post-game coverage, stay tuned to TSN. And back with more from BC Place in Vancouver.